Okay, let's see how YouTube likes us. And I think it does. All right, come on, YouTube. It says it likes us. There we go. All righty. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another edition of Smudcast number 233. This is a Lindsay Ellis video, which we haven't done in a while. So, hey, why not? Pocahontas was a mistake, and here's why. Now, I haven't watched the entire video. It's about, 33 minutes long. So we're not going to go through all of it, of course, today. But I wouldn't mind going for at least 2 hours because my head is still kind of reeling from watching the Snyder Cut. So I think anything would be better than watching that. So I wouldn't mind watching more, but I don't think I can take it. Yeah, it's not for everyone. So anyway, Lindsay Ellis. I don't know, you guys. Who likes Disney films?
First, pint of blood loss. Disney films. I love Disney films. They're great.
Yeah. They're pretty
especially
fun.
this era, this sort of like 90s.
The Renaissance.
Yeah, the Renaissance.
I mean, yeah, Hunchback, Mulan, Pocahontas. They're so much.
Hercules, Lion King, Aladdin.
Oh, actually, I didn't really like Hercules and Lion King or Aladdin.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that. It's like, yeah.
I actually liked Hercules more than Lion King. So.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why. I just really enjoyed that movie.
Oh.
Well, the point is that the Renaissance was just so good. There was at least there was something for almost everyone in that era.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I enjoy all kinds of animated
yes.
films from America, whether or not it's 2D or 3D. I think they're great, at least classically when I was growing up and when I was going to my cousins and they bought, my cousin, my aunt, she babysat, like that was her job. And she had the entire collection. And she had this huge cabinet, just all the VHSs. And it was just fun to sit back with a bunch of basically toddlers and watch a bunch of musical style Disney films. They were great. They were fun. And then they were just fun to watch and sing along and dance along. Same with Frozen. It was just, that's our big Disney film of, I think, this decade, or last decade rather, was Frozen.
Would you say that you guys basically had the home media equivalent of the Disney Vault?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
More or less.
I still have that. Well, my grandparents still have that at their house. Pretty much every single one in the original VHS tapes. Yeah.
Yeah, your son's gonna have a great time.
Do not throw those away.
I didn't really need.
No, I'm not. No, yeah.
Basically,
I mean more specifically with all the edits that Disney Plus has made.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really need
specifically.
I didn't really need the whole vault because I kind of just watched Tarzan over and over again because I was just obsessed with Tarzan.
That is a good one. That is a good one. Yeah.
I wanted to be Phil Collins when I was a kid.
Those Phil Collins bangers.
For some reason, I just kept watching. Was it Songs of the South over and over again? Just don't know why. I just kept getting drawn back to that one.
I also like laughing at the fucking. You're the guy in Hunchback. You're the guy in Hunchback who keeps going like, "I'm free, I'm free." Like, dang it! Yeah. I find that hilarious as a child.
I loved Hunchback. Hunchback was dark, actually. It was surprising to go to rewatch that as an adult and kind of realize how kind of a effed up movie that
movie
was.
would have been just a little bit better if the gargoyles were all in Hunchback's head.
Yes. Yeah.
Exclusively.
Yeah. But Hellfire is still like one of my favorite villain songs.
Oh,
that was
sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolute banger. That's absolute banger.
So yeah, and these are all kind of pre-Renaissance, roughly. There's maybe some stories with people with guns.
The Renaissance is starting from Little Mermaid, basically.
Right. So
remind me, was Pocahontas in the Renaissance or was it before?
Yeah, it was 1995.
It was. Yeah.
95. Okay.
Yeah. Then Hunchback was 96.
Exactly.
So lots of great musical scenes, lots of good animation scenes, fun for the family, and just good themes, good basic storytelling that you don't have to get too confused over. It's not too overtly complex until you start getting into the 3D stuff, and it could get a little strange. But other than that, no, I think they're great films, and Pocahontas is no difference. And that's why I want to hopefully go over this one. I don't know Again, I only went through a few minutes, and she sounds okay.
I'm going in completely blind. I don't know about everyone
Yeah.
else.
Okay.
I
I'm
remember
going
it
in blind.
pretty vividly. So
I'm watching Pocahontas. Yeah, it's been some time since I saw it, but with this video, I have no idea. I usually try and watch Lindsay before I come on a video about her, but today I thought, I saw that it'll be fine.
I mean, I have a pretty decent guess of like where she's going with this.
Yeah,
And yeah.
because it glorifies America colonialism.
If she doesn't say white
Yeah.
savior, if she doesn't say the words white savior in this video, I will be surprised.
That same here.
Dollface. If you shouldn't say white savior, I'll eat my potato.
I'll eat my slave.
Yeah, go with that sleeve.
All right, so this will take some time. We probably won't get through it, I assume, just because it's a very long video, but we might do a part 2 if there's anything worth it. But it really depends on whether we like it or not. She's the least painful of all the ideologues I think we've covered. She does do some research, does some good cuts. I just don't like her zoom ins. Like, her face is huge, and it's just like, zoom a bit back. Just step back from the camera a bit. That'd be great. A little too much light. Yeah, a little soft lens or whatever. I don't know how much light she's using, but she always looks bleached. So I don't know if it's makeup. I really don't know, but it just, I always have to look away when I listen to her. Anyway, not a big deal. Just my problem. Let's get started. Kyle Rocket Smud, you and Shiny hate everything. I'm assuming you're referring to Justice League or Justice League, but it's not for me. So, nor is the original. So, Punish Berserker.
It sounds like it's not for anybody.
No, go on Twitter. People, the Snyderverse people love it.
Yes, I know. I've seen it.
Okay, all right.
I have had my arguments with them.
What the Restore the Snyderverse hashtag? That's the new one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case people didn't understand from my accent, I did say slave, as in like, a slave, not sleeve.
Yeah.
Yes, we know.
I know my accent's kind of, I don't know, goofy, but yeah. Just to be absolutely clear that I'm being racist.
Yeah, we know you meant your shirt sleeve.
No. I mean the black person that I keep in the basement. Just to be explicitly clear, I'm being racist. I'm becoming super racist.
Okay. Before Dollface says something he regrets, let's start.
All right, here is Punish Berserker. Huma Numa. Hey, what makes a red man red? I don't know, man. That's beyond my pay grade. Couldn't tell you.
As well as Kyle Rocket. Shall I fetch the lube?
Oh, thanks, Kyle. She's not that bad. She's fine. She's compared to anything. Okay, anything compared to the Snyder Cut is probably very good to watch. So I don't mind Lindsay Ellis. Anyway.
Yeah, Lindsay, in terms of her takes on things, is more balanced than most of the yahoos out there nowadays. So, with that said, let's start.
There we go.
So, pitch for a movie. It's about this young girl, and she's the daughter of the tribal chief of a group of indigenous people living in pre-colonial times. And she's about to come of age, and her dad is like, "Time to come of age, honey. You need to do the thing and take your place in the leaderarchy."
It suits you.
And she's like, "I'm not too keen on your particular vision for me, Dad." She likes water. It's like a metaphor for freedom, and she's like, "Hey, water, is there something more for me out there?" And then she sings a song about the water. She has this grandmother character who's special because she's got a spiritual insight that nobody else in the tribe has, and she's like, "Hey, maybe your dad is being too restrictive. Maybe there is something more out there for you." But then a conflict comes from over the sea, and Grandma's like, "Well, you know what? Hey, maybe that's your destiny, and you need to go meet it." And our heroine is like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds legit." Turns out she has this treasure-obsessed antagonist who's really obsessed with being shiny. So she gets in a boat and goes out to meet her destiny. And after some trials and tribulations and hanging out with some guy who is pretty disrespectful to her, TBH, she kind of f***s up by way of overestimating her own abilities and nearly gets the guy she's palling around with killed. And then she's like, "You know what? Maybe I can't do it. Maybe I can't fix the conflict. And so she's kind of sad, and she talks to her spirit grandma like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And spirit grandma's like, no, honey, you got this. And she realizes what her destiny is, and ultimately our heroine saves the day, not through violence or might, but with her compassion. And then her dad was like, oh, okay, honey, I guess you were right. And then she takes her place in the leaderarchy and helps her people into a new era of hope. The end.
Okay.
That's not been done before, has it?
I mean, what she's describing is
A
The
plot.
90s was a
Yes, well
weird
done.
time for...
yeah. I
great.
was gonna say that's, yes, there is
There's a
rising,
documentary
falling
on
action.
Netflix
There's
called Real
conflict.
Engine you
What's
should
wrong?
check out for a better overview.
I am greeted with open smiles and looks of appreciation.
It's almost like pretty much like, oh, you see, there's 3 acts. You know, it's like
Yeah,
almost
I just
Do we remember
one
when?
step removed from being.
By the way,
Batman.
do we remember when films actually had an element of sacrifice and irreversible choices? I'm looking at Ray
Yeah,
right now.
Do you remember
When they
Remember-
couldn't be undone, when
What?
people
do you remember
died.
when women
That's
could
fucking
actually,
racist.
not succeed at everything,
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
racist.
and there are actually stakes and consequences to your action. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah. I
That's
don't.
fun.
I'm curious where she's going, why this is a problem, but I'm sure it's a problem. So let's go on, I guess.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
you think that's a good thing, you fucking reactionary.
She just described part of a hero's journey. It's totally fine. I'm not seeing a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
No,
seeing
I
the
don't know.
problem. I'm predicting that there is a problem, and that's why she's highlighting the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, here's
So are we gonna move into white savior at this point?
No.
There's only one reason.
Not
One reason
until she
Kevin
says it.
Costner
yeah.
gets brought up.
We'll find out. Here's Fritz Philogene the second for a donation. See how I glitter. That's all in caps. I don't know what you're referring to, but
It's about
Oh,
Chinese-
that's the song
Chinese
from.
stuff.
Yeah, no, that's the song that the villain sings in the one where she was referring to the guy who wants gold and everything like that. See how I glitter.
Yeah.
Mine. Is that it?
Yeah, that's from Mine. That's his whole. He's a vain antagonist. His whole thing is about wealth, status, and power. That's why he founded. That's why he went out with the Virginia Company. He's basically, the way they depict him is he's basically kind of like a, not down on his luck noble, but more or less a lower end noble, and he's trying to achieve more wealth through coming to the new land. It's his entire motivation.
all right.
Yeah.
Here is Punish Berserker for the super chat. Thanks, sir. I'm not racist with the RAY. Okay. Racist SIST. I don't know what's going on there with your spelling, but thank you. Because I'm the one that sold Dollface that sleeve. Never liked Cousin Tyrone anyway.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow.
Can we move on with the?
No, we can't.
Is there any chance that we should get kicked off the
Mine,
I don't know how
mine.
YouTube moderation works.
Strangely enough, the only time I got a copyright strike was last night from the Adam, and it went away this morning because I fought it, and they said,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you could have it. So yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah, true.
What was the?
Yeah,
what was
True
the thing
TV.
again?
True TV struck the live stream right off the bat, and then not long after, yeah.
Yeah, it came back within I think a minute, and then I got the
More or less,
actual
yeah.
strike. Like you get a 3 strikes you're out sort of thing on YouTube. So I got the 1 strike, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta be careful about this. I thought it was going to go on all month, because what ends up happening is a lot of these things are automated, and you file to retract, or you say I'm going to counter claim, and most people don't get the email, most people don't care, and it just sits there for 1 month, and then by that time it's legally permissible that the provider like YouTube can then say, okay, yeah, it's not a deal, it's not a big problem, you can get your monetization back. So in these cases, because it was so quick, they must have a big sensitive license with YouTube to say we can do this, and that's why I was so sensitive, the audio and video with True TV for whatever reason. And
Yeah,
someone,
they're definitely on point with their shit.
yeah, and so they got back within, I think, 16, 17 hours, whatever it was. So that was good. So bad really quick, but fast very quick as well. So anyway, let's keep going. Zimzilla99, thank you for the $10 American. It's been years since I've seen light. What? And Dollface only left me a computer down there. I don't think I'm worth eating. Oh my god!
Shut up!
What is happening in our super chats?
We've now got the perfect story.
We're trading shit. We're trading slaves around, and now we've talked to this. Okay, whatever.
Shut up!
Silence! You're straw man.
Also,
Don't make me come down there.
You're straw man. But wasn't Pocahontas based off a date movie? I
maybe?
don't
What?
think
Oh,
so.
What a date.
You what?
No,
You what? You what,
It was
mate?
probably based off the. It was probably Disney-fied off the actual Pocahontas story.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Oh no, if that's the case, very clearly yes.
if
Because
anyone has any information, put it in the chat because I'd like to know because that sounds really weird. Like you imagine, let's make a story about Native Americans, but it's for like romantic couples. You're like, what? What? Not this? No, it's stupid. We would never do that.
Why would you do that? There's never make money. It's like putting a romance on a ship that will sink.
yeah,
Back time
Disneyfication can definitely like make or break anything they release, especially back in this era.
Yeah.
And I'm,
There-
for the record, by the way, I'm fine with manipulating historical concepts.
Yeah, I know, but
they can make it a general audience as a movie. That's fine with me. I have enough dark, tragic shit that I have to shift through, and anyway, it's okay to have something that's happy.
Sure, but I think most Disney films have an element of romance or a Disney princess in them, so you expect that to be present. But I don't think specifically if you were to, I don't know, you're a young teenager or something and you want to take your date out, like I don't think that's ever an idea. But what do I
babe,
know?
Let's go see Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't really
I don't know, maybe. I have no idea what I'm talking about in the regards to
No, I want to see a romantic movie like 12 Years a Slave. That really gets me going.
All right, let's go.
Appreciation. In short, I have become a celebrity.
We'd be here all day if we did even a brief overview of all the media trends leading up to that, but suffice to say that by the 90s, the trend was sympathetic to the Native American plight, but also, you know, white Americans don't want to feel like the bad guy, which is why almost all of the 90s crop of movies that involved Native Americans had good white protagonists, helping the natives out against the bad white people who are greedy and bad and like money, not like the good white people who just want to be free and live one.
So,
I mean, you can point that out about my history. I don't feel guilty whatsoever because I didn't do
the
it.
moral here is
So-
just to universally portray every single white person as unapologetically evil.
So-
all the
Yeah.
time. That's
Also, Last of the
the-
Mohicans, obviously, she didn't watch it because, yeah.
So it just seems like what you're asking for as like no, you should show it as how it really was, where every single white person is unforgivably evil all the time.
Fine. And to challenge that, let's show it how it really
Yeah,
was.
no.
Let's show how
Yeah, no, I'd
warned it
yeah,
themselves.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'd watch it. So all those cool shots of Native Americans like getting one up on the settlers, we can just erase them and just have them being mown down by flintlock pistols and rifles constantly,
Right.
No,
dying of diseases and losing the lands constantly. With it'd just be slaughter. It'd just be constant slaughter. Perfectly fine with that. I'm sure others will be happy seeing that. Watching Native American villages be burnt to the ground because they can't win a war against people who've got better technology. You
have
sure,
like a thing at the start of the
Let's
movie,
do
it's like,
that.
this is based on a real story, and then all you see is the guy from fucking Apocalypse Now. He's like, I love the smell of napalm in the morning, and they have like the helicopters.
It's just like.
Well, we had shots she showed shots of a guy missing and shooting a coyote several times. We have Kevin Costner, I believe this is Dances with Wolves, where he befriends a bunch of Native Americans. And Last of the Mohicans, I think that was the most true to life depiction, at least from what I remember of reviews, of the Native American people.
In that bloody film, it's the natives literally murder and slaughter unarmed women and children in a scene,
right?
Because a historical thing where a British army surrendered and was retreating to the French, and the I think it was maybe not the Iroquois, because the Iroquois were on the British side, but the other ones attacked the British. I think it's called the Massacre of Fort Henry, and like killed every single person, man, woman, and child. So, that thing, and that's in the movie, and it's shown quite brutally. So, yeah. Obviously,
No,
you didn't
that
watch
never
that,
happened.
Smee,
White man
did you,
bad.
Lindsay?
White man
No,
bad. No, white man bad. White man bad.
It did happen though.
White man
It
bad.
did, and it's
Ooga
quite,
booga.
well known. But
White man
anyway,
bad.
but also the British soldiers who were there I think they were only allowed to have 5 rounds each for protection on the march back, so they couldn't really put up a fight. Well, because they'd lost the battle against the French, and the French said, "We're taking your ammunition. Here's just enough to make the like 300-mile walk that you need to do. Good luck. Bye."
The French are nice people.
Yeah,
But they're also French, though. So I mean, that
they're also French as well.
It's like,
but yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yes.
With the nature and spirits of the nature, and hey, maybe we're not so different. That brief
That was an
resurgence of the
amazing
Western
song.
in the 90s was a reflection on America's
One of my
changing
favorites.
understanding of its own history. White America was in a process of coming to terms with its relationship to the people who were here, first.
Or it was just Disney trying to make a buck.
Or not. Also, not the people who were there first. They were the people who had beaten whoever was around there first to, succeed. Because the Native Americans weren't the first people there. There were other tribes beforehand that no longer exist.
Well,
But
the
anyway,
Native
continue.
Americans isn't it even a? I mean, that's a
Yeah, they're not even Native American.
Yeah,
They're not even that, because most of them travelled across from.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them travelled across from Russia through Alaska during the Ice Ages, when you could actually walk there. But anyway, regardless, no one's ever there. The people who get to a place first are usually not the people that the Europeans bumped into, because they were wiped out thousands of years beforehand. Native Americans were fighting and wiping each other out for thousands of years. But anyway, whatever, sure.
Here's Strawman. Strawman, not one talks that we gave blankets. Come on, man. Okay, yeah, we know the story of the blankets we gave to the Native Americans, and they were filled with smallpox or whatever the case was. Was it measles or smallpox? I can't remember.
Both.
Yeah, we just infected the bloody things. Yes, horrible stories. We got
Not deliberately. Just
I think there was like one guy. I think there was like one guy who was like, "I've got this plan," But
I've got this plan.
Systemic idea,
I've got this final solution. For the last time, Brian Hitler, we are not doing a final solution. Just put it away.
We're gonna coof. It will.
We're gonna goof everywhere.
And we'll blow their immune systems away.
Oh, dear. Oh, hi, Glib.
Enter
Main topic.
which
Hello?
effectively ended that 90s era of why
Hello?
can't we just all get along
Hey, Glib.
Hello?
Glib.
I come here with an offering of blankets for you.
Oh,
Yeah. I like how people are like, they intentionally infected them.
oh my
I don't
God.
think that... How late into germ theory was that?
Pretty much before germ theory.
So I always thought that story was that people weren't exposed to smallpox or whatever, and then when they did, they didn't have an immune system.
Well, most of
prepared
them
for it.
died before they even met. It wasn't that they had a whole lot of interactions with them, and that caused it. It was like literally they came onto the continent, and then before even meeting them, like before they even had mass contact with them at all, that was enough to spread the disease.
Well, that's what I
most-
figured, was that smallpox was just not endemic to the region, right?
Right, but
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is it wasn't like they were interacting on large scale,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what caused it. Like it was like
No,
literally-
what I was thinking was that
Yeah,
regardless of what happened, as long as there was that interaction, that was bound to happen because smallpox was being brought over, like rats. Like how no matter where you go on a boat, there's always rats. And rats end
Well,
up everywhere
'cause
around the world because they
'cause rats brought the plague,
Right.
didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
in Europe, and
So then-
we weren't used to Asian diseases, so that's why it killed loads of people in the Black Death. So, but
They spread based on migration of some sort, but it's impossible to regulate that because it could be spread by birds migrating, it could be spread by invasive species or whatever. And it's just any past disease, you could look at a specific area and blame someone for it, right? But the problem is that we don't, in current day society, hold ourselves to that standard, do we? I mean, it's like nobody. The reason why biological, nuclear, chemical weapons are largely banned and stuff is because they have this lasting effect. So the idea that they were using smallpox as a biological weapon is kind of revisionist history, probably. I mean, why would you give anybody a blanket?
Back in the 1600s.
What would be the point of giving somebody a blanket, like as a gesture of goodwill, right? I mean, like we're talking about people who traded for glass beads and shit. That's another one of those things that people don't really understand is that it's not inherent. I don't think that people that came to America were expecting there to be people there already with a culture that they wouldn't be able to interface with. I genuinely don't think that they were thinking like, hey, let's just kill all these people. And then, I don't think
a lot of them were fleeing persecution in Britain.
Right. So like America, just in general, as a geographic thing, I wanted to say was that it's such a big place that it stretches my imagination to think that en masse, like a large community of people, were saying like we should just genocide these people. I don't think that was a common. I don't think human morality in general thinks that like in that context. I think that a lot of the stuff that's happened that are social norms and programming are things that people are not paying attention to. So like when it comes to like the slavery thing, or it comes to Native American genocide, or all these things, it's when it's part of an ideology that expresses that explicitly, then you get that explicit result. When you don't have that explicit intent, it's frustrating that there's still a narrative that was the explicit intent. We always have to, like the Lindsay Ellis types, it's like it's always just the patriarchy. They're coming here to genocide the people that don't look like them. And this is the white savior complex. Like that's not what's happening. People that are looking for new space run into other people, and a bunch of effects happen because of that. Even if you wanted to get along with everybody that you ran into, you're not going to. So it's one of those interesting things that people had to deal with, and the morality play that existed then is still playing out today. And what I always think about in these situations, while people are moralizing about the past, is how they're ignoring the morals of today, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? That's my initial problem with listening to this.
Okay, well, here's Tyler Preston trying to reenact what Lindsay Ellis is trying to tell us, I think. Oh, you poor minorities, allow me, a knowing white bint, to speak on your behalf. I am such a good person, please praise me. I don't know.
Such a good person.
So
Such a good literature double.
Like totally, like nice and good, totally, like perfect, virtuous, totally. Anyway, I'm gonna get my soy latte now.
Well, in order to go from a media studies, what is her diploma? I can't remember what she got. Was it a diploma or a degree in sociology or media studies, and to apply it to YouTube videos and to go on this passionately about what she thinks is true does take some gumption. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's certainly ideologically geared to be a bit slanted.
I just love the fact that they show so much interest in talking about this period and yet have no actual historical knowledge of anything that happened in this period.
Those revisionist.
Mm-hmm.
It's always it's rethinking the past and using modern morals to justify what would happen then. And
well,
then
no, it's
they
not
say
even
that
it's the fact that they just ignore absolutely everything that happened, even things that might support their theory, because they just don't know anything about it.
Well, they don't know.
Their only knowledge of it comes from the movies.
It's what happened with people like Quentin reviews, where they go in with a narrative. They go in searching for evidence towards what their opinion is, and if there's something that contradicts it, they have to go and brush that away somehow. That's just part of this. And if there's a piece of history that's inconvenient, it gets swept under the rug instead of just trying to tell the whole story. But you don't have the whole story, and that's the issue with history in general. You can't project intention onto the hundreds of thousands of people that were a part of this process, or the millions of people, whatever the exact amount is. I can't even fathom how many different opinions there were at this time. I've never talked to anybody from this period. Nobody has that's alive today. So we have no idea, only what they wrote. And then what's the prevailing opinion of the time affects what the common parlance is. So that's what's interesting to me. How progressive is a person today going to be looked at in 20 years from now? If things keep going, they're going to say, how are these Lindsay Ellis videos going to be looked at? Is she going to be looked at as some sort of cliche white savior exactly the same way? Like, oh, it's just like, what an irony. Some white feminist telling us about how progressive we should be. That's such a rote trope.
But look at what she's talking about in the 90s with how all these movies about that was classed as really progressive back in the 90s. 20 years later, we've got Lindsay Ellis here saying that's not really progressive. So it's like, okay, you're just proving the point that it doesn't take that long before what you think is progressive now is classed as backwards and regressive.
Well, it's kind of what do you call it? Fucking Trotskyism, sort of. Like there's always revolution. There's always like it's never enough. You have to as soon as you have a revolution, you have to revolt against the revolution.
Yeah. Think of all the people who, even in 2014, were classed as progressive, who have now been cancelled by this year because they're not as progressive as people think they are. What the left thinks it is. It's like in 5 to 10 years.
They always move the goalpost forward.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever enough for these people.
Yeah.
All right, here's Taker 610. I hate the IRS. Is the Canadian one better, Smud? Okay, we're talking about tax because it's tax season. Let me just give you a basic rundown what I have to go through. If I want to buy American, I have to spend I have to give 15% back to the IRS. So the IRS really sucks. But with Canada, it's like 29%. So that's on top of the 15%. So no, Canada's worse.
Where doesn't it suck?
Yeah, it sucks everywhere. I know. And that's just dividends. That's just me being a good little investor and making money. And that's not income tax. That's not transfer tax. That's not exchange tax. That's just dividends. So keep that in mind. Just
tax on your existence.
America.
America.
Plus, just this month, or this year rather, because of Google having to realize, oh shit, we've been doing taxes wrong with YouTube. Anyone who's not in America has to file for not being American tax to the Google AdSense program. So who knows?
That's what you get for not being American.
Yeah, essentially.
Can you imagine that? Excuse me, you did business here? Give us money? Like, wait a minute. That's kind of against your whole charter, isn't it? Yeah, well, we're hypocrites.
This is on top of the 30% they already take. Money. Yeah, they already take 30%. Yeah. Then they're going to take another 15%. If you don't fill that out, they'll take another 30%. So now if you don't know any better and you're just like going through your day as a normal YouTuber, you're losing 60%.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. So that's why I always recommend, if you want to send me money or anything, go through Streamlabs. They take 0%. I still have to file taxes with my country as a result, but it's still less than getting taxed by YouTube and Google, or ultimately American IRS.
This is discrimination against Americans.
Everyone should be America. You only get taxed once. Okay, fine.
Everyone should be America so that we can control everybody. Oh, no, that sounds horrible. Cancel.
Yeah.
And everyone gives us the same money.
No, I don't want to do it. Get away.
All right, let's go.
No, I don't want to fly the flags and have your French fries. No.
Freedom fries.
Our flag isn't even that aesthetic. That's the problem. It's like
no, it's like I'd be like, here's the American flag. This has got a hammer and sickle on it.
Oh no. Wait, why are you handing me the Chinese flag? What's going on here?
Better than one of the fucking 3 lines ones where it's just like 3 fucking stripes.
Vice President Biden gave me this flag.
Fucking France.
It says owned in China.
Made in China. You know, it literally on a lot of these like Apple products and stuff, it's like designed in California, made in China. It's like fuck you, dude. It's so fucked up. Do you think about how like the organizations are split up and you're like, well, this is really messed up. Like the manufacturing base lives in one country and then the user base lives in the other country and they don't interact with each other. That's so fucked up.
Yep.
That's globalism, baby.
Anyway,
back to poisoning the Native Americans and driving them out and killing all the buffalo.
Here's the thing. Why would you use blankets?
Iron horse
Poison
come
the
through
water
town.
Supply? Be a lot easier.
What'd you say?
I said, why use blankets? Why not just poison the water supply? It'd be a lot easier.
Why not just shoot them with guns?
Just shoot
don't have
guns.
guns.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they did a lot of the time.
These white supremacists were thinking too small. Should have thought bigger.
Like if they wanted to wipe them out down to the last man, like they could have.
They could easily have done it. Yes.
It seems plausible to me that they were trying to do it, but they just couldn't. Like it just seems silly. Like they
didn't. The point was not to kill all of them. The point was not to kill all of them. It was to establish their civilization, and that's the thing is that. When Lindsay Ellis and the revisionists are taking the side that they're against the side that they're on, they want to dissociate themselves from the side that they're American. Lindsay Ellis is an American person, but she's gonna like side with the Native Americans, right? Oh, look, what happened to them is so bad. It's like, yeah, but you're not gonna go live on a reservation, are you? You're not gonna do anything about it. So your comments on it are like totally useless. Like, how is the moralizing of the past gonna change the future? What is it that you're presenting here that's gonna help us? Like what we should not make Pocahontas anymore?
Okay, fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
Reservations.
So now Disney fans miss out on something. Okay, that's fine.
You should make it, but there's no romantic subplot, and then she just gets killed.
She kills the guy. She's like, "Get off my land, white man."
Like I suppose like a fucking alternate history, like Inglourious Bastards style, but it's all the Native Americans just like kill all the white people.
And then Pocahontas falls in love with a black slave that freed, and it is a woman. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and of course they wouldn't take any slaves as payment because I mean they're so morally superior that they wouldn't have slaves. No Native American tribes would accept slaves.
And they would make it so like the Native American tribe would be like totally like. Men and women are equal. We have women hunters too. The only, you know what I mean? Like instead of them staying and the men would go out and hunt and freeze to death. You know, it's going to be women.
I'm just thinking. We have women hunters as well. It's been 4 months since we last ate.
This is an equal opportunity Native American tribe.
Alrighty.
So anyway, do you need us to send you some food? Dear God, yes, please.
This is all referring to the wonderful joke about the Survivor episode, I believe. Mm-hmm. All right. Just so we're on the same page. Like, all right. Let's go.
Let's go.
Colonialist narratives. Oh,
neo-colonialist
smatterings of that kind of movie here and there in the years that followed. But by the time Pocahontas came out, people were kind of sick of it.
They were? Were they really sick of it? Or is that just you saying that because
Disney
you're a dumb bitch?
Disney was expecting Pocahontas to be the smash hit that would break through the glass ceiling cracked by Beauty and the Beast.
What?
That Best Picture Oscar glass ceiling, because best...
A whole new world! Does anybody remember when Lindsay Ellis' police report came out and she was so drunk that she was kicking the window of the patrol car? That was funny.
Yeah.
Animated picture yet. Inside of the Disney studio, the faith the filmmakers had in Pocahontas caused minor chaos, with animators begging to jump ship off of The Lion King in favor of Pocahontas, which was...
they just a bunch of racists wanted to colonize the Pocahontas. They wanted to leave The Lion King, you know.
Damn, let's not, you know, do the movie about Africa. Let's colonize America.
Wow, it sounds like Disney has some HR issues, like every company I've ever been in. That's great. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, they used to. It's called Mauschwitz. Yeah.
Wow,
Disney employees are like they get to a certain point, and then they go, "Okay, fuck it. I'm just here for the pension." And I've seen so many defeated high-level Disney employees. It's very odd, but I understand it because it's like people. You know, It's like when you hear Johnson & Johnson, a family company, and it's a giant corporation. You're like, oh, that's what a family company is. Disney is the same way.
Yeah.
Disney's like, it's like the magical kingdom. And then you go behind the stages and it's just a normal, like, you can just hear the air compressors running and all the mascots are smoking cigarettes behind the scenes. Like, yeah, I'm going to Las Vegas to get my dick sucked next weekend.
Homemade cookies, and it's just because the workers live in the factory.
Yeah, that's what makes it a home. Yeah,
that's what makes it their home. So
we pay our employees with cocoa beans. There's we imported them, pygmy tribes.
Yeah.
Disney, run by Imagineer pygmies.
They set up their sleeping bags in the conveyor belt. You know, they just
we force our workers to sing while they're on the job. It improves their morale. It's a hard knock life for us. Bunch of pygmies making Disney toys in China.
Well,
1, 2, kick. 1, 2, kick. 1, 2, kick. What?
I think a lot of creative types, when they're in that sort of environment where they're used as talent to work on a project, and it's all just animation anyway, so you could take people from various projects. You have keyframe animators who are the guys in charge, and they can say what they want. But yeah, a bunch of creative guys on a project-like style environment, they're going to get moody. They're going to want to jump on projects. Oh, I want to draw some spaceships. I want to draw some leaves or whatever. It's like, yeah, fine, go. It's up to HR to figure that out.
Tyrone, could you're black. Why don't you draw this black person? I can draw.
Oh my God,
sure
I hate.
You can, kiddo.
People are so sick of that, dude. I think the way that people coddle quote unquote minorities as if they're like these like lower beings is disgusting to me. That's because that's what this is all rooted around. It's like, oh, why didn't anybody step in to save the poor Native Americans? It's like, no. This is man and man's faults, and any side's inability to figure out what is the right way of figuring out how to deal with a situation. It happens throughout history, and people want it to just be like, "What? You're so stupid. Why didn't you just do this? Why didn't you just do that? Why didn't they just like use their guns against the Americans?" I'm like, wow. Like, it's so stupid because they don't know what they're talking about.
Why don't they just use like the planes and tanks and stuff? It's like,
oh my God,
this is 1793. Bro, but like they could have like why don't they just get onto Twitter and just like all group together with a hashtag No More Colonization?
Why don't we just why don't we just teach men not to rape? That would
exactly. That's one of the best ones. Why don't we just teach colonizers not to colonize?
Why
oh my God!
Thought of this idea? Just teach them not to do bad things, guys.
Why don't we just make it illegal to kill people?
The world would be a better place if it was run by women, and everybody got free money to go shopping on Tuesdays, and we had caffeine in the morning in the form of soy lattes.
And then we can get like our nails done, and we could go for lattes, and we can go into this.
Everybody would be in touch.
Ladies, we're talking about poverty in Ethiopia. Back on
the president and the vice president will be meeting with the empress of China, and we'll be talking today about our feelings. Okay, I feel like your incursion into the South China Sea is just totally unacceptable.
You just don't want to listen to my feelings. Oh God! Break out the ice cream, girls. It's gonna be a PJ night.
Oh my God! Could you just stop using slave labor and have child labor laws? Could you change the Bible and stuff to be more progressive for us? That'd be really great. Really great.
And instead of invading Czechoslovakia, could you just send them over some Gucci boots or something?
Oh my God! Can you please just leave the Jews alone, Hitler? Please. I'm gonna get you canceled off Twitter, Hitler.
Come on, Adele Hitler. Come on.
Oh my God.
It's not. Roy says it's nothing but political sarcasm. This is worthless. Yeah, this whole thing is worthless. What the fuck are you doing on YouTube? It's worthless.
Is that a fucking French name?
I came here for the intense intellectual Lindsay Ellis discussion.
Yeah. God, if only we did something 400 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
Stop being a crybaby, Glib. Get over yourself. What do you want me to say?
Yeah,
What do you want me to say?
you want your safe space.
Wait, hang on.
Wow.
How was Glibber Crybaby going, let's move on, let's not fucking sit around crying about something that happened before any of us lived?
Stop treating the minority groups that you're talking about like they're political pawns in your game of dominance over a hierarchy that you believe exists that people don't think exists. That's what the feminist thing is.
Yeah.
And it's funny when we hold them to their own standards because they can't stay up to their own standards. How long is it going to be until ContraPoints gets canceled for being a white feminist or something like that? Do you understand? It's a slippery slope. And the sarcasm comes from not taking it seriously because at face value, the value system that they have is unstable. It will destroy itself, and they're a part of that destruction. I'm not trying to advocate for any kind of ideology that's self-destructive.
It's an ever-shrinking circle where every day could be your last day in that circle.
Well, I wouldn't mind advocating for
out,
a government which is self-destructive. That'd be pretty neat. Like you install it for a reason, and then it goes away. It's like, we need the government to fight the war. The war is over. Okay, get rid of the government. We're good.
No tready on.
I'm down with that. That's good. I like that. I like the idea, but that's more like saying you want a purpose-built response to a situation, as opposed to having a perpetual machine. And I agree with that. Government should be self-limiting, not self-destructive.
Anyway, we're vying way off topic.
Big paradox. Big paradox. Can't happen.
Anyway, let's get going. We're only almost 4 minutes in. We're doing good. 40 minutes, 4 minutes. Good, yeah.
It's widely considered within the studio to be the superior of the two, the more legit and artistic, see how I do it? So Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who were CEO and studio head respectively at the time, were somewhat surprised that the reaction to the film was mostly indifference, disappointment, and harsh criticism from Native American groups who were annoyed at basically every aspect of the film. And it's easy to see where that criticism comes from. Pocahontas is basically peak 90s neoliberalism. It has all of the required merchandisable Disney things.
Huh? What?
Wow. They made toys of a Disney film.
What is that sentence, bro? Peak neoliberalism.
Pocahontas is the Native American mentality is neoliberalism, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I don't even know what the meant by that.
Okay.
Because I feel like neoliberalism is one of those terms that is just whatever like any opponent to the system just calls the system, and they'll have their own definition of what they mean. Like, it just seems like not a very useful term. It's so vague. It's like, you see, this is neoliberalism.
Oh yes, these postmodern neoliberalists versus us feminist progressives.
Yeah. I'm just like, well, was it? I'm sure last week we heard about neoliberalism. You found a list of people on it, and you read it, and you were like, wait, hang on, why are these people here? They're not liberals.
Oh, that was like Margaret Thatcher and a bunch of other conservatives. You're like, wait a second.
Right, hold on a second. Why
Who made this list?
You're like, oh, raging communists. Of course, everything's neoliberal.
Yeah, you have a list like, I think it was like Ronald Reagan and like, oh yeah, Milton Friedman. I was like, how the hell is Milton Friedman a liberal?
Yeah.
A neoliberal.
It's
what
does it mean?
Economically liberal, I guess, is the.
Economically is such like those guys only think in terms of economics anyway. So you have
because they're materialists. It's dialectical materialism.
Geez, well that's something else. But like, Hayek was on the list, I think. I'm like, how the hell is Hayek on the list? He doesn't care about politics. He cares about systems of business and monies and how that works. They don't care about who's in control of what.
Well, he cares about liberty, and he believes that liberty is a good thing.
As a free market economist, but that's
right. So that's as opposed to being illiberal.
That's like
the economy.
Yeah, but he's not a neoliberal.
No, I would have to act because when you read Hayek, he doesn't really talk about politics in that context. He'll talk about types of politics, but he doesn't say he himself is X and therefore I think Y. That's not his mentality. He's very Hayek is very easy to read. That's the beauty of it. As when you hear him, he's this Austrian sort of like highfalutin sort of fellow, but when he writes, it's like, oh, that's just, this is what happened in 1940. And like, oh shit, really?
Oh shit.
So it's not like Hayek is a great read.
Austrians would know about stuff happening in the 1940s, wouldn't they?
Well, we have these great names like Milton Friedman. He's one of our, I think, the 19th century, probably the best well-known economist aside from Keynes and Hayek. What else? I'm trying to remember all these other guys. But it's just they're economists first. They're not politically minded.
Yeah.
So
I like what Light Yagami said. I'm a quarter Native American, and I hated the film because it was a boring and mediocre film, not because of it not being accurate to the actual history of Pocahontas. And I found One Piece and Demon Slayer to be more entertaining than Disney's Pocahontas. I mean, obviously, yeah. That's like, why isn't Aladdin a better representation of Arab culture? It's like, because it's a fucking Disney cartoon. And it says a lot about the person making this review, that they're looking for this kind of like progressive propaganda message in their fun child humor, which is about wonder and excitement.
I just thought of that. Can you imagine the originators of the myth that were given enough funding? So can you make the next Disney film in your background of your understanding of what it is, and make it entertaining for your people or whatever? Like, do that. Do it that way and see how that measures up. Because a lot of us would be like, okay, let's ask Saudi Arabia to make whatever, like Scheherazade or whatever in a Disney film style. We probably wouldn't be able to understand it very well. We'd be like, that's kind of not for me.
That's funny. Who are these movies for?
Yeah.
They're for Americans, right?
American audience.
Yeah. But nowadays I can't say that, because then they're like, well, yeah, there's the Chinese audience and there's European. So they got to make the most bland, least offensive thing possible to every audience. And that means it comes from no culture, and it says nothing about any culture of any consequence. Yeah. Which is boring. Because they want everything to be copacetic between every different culture, but they don't have an actual way of doing that. Because different cultures are antithetical to certain cultures. You know what I mean? If we can't adapt Saudi Arabian culture to American culture, it wouldn't make any sense, and vice versa. They would have to change substantially. And they want things to change, but at the same time, they don't want to offend traditional cultures that are older. But then if you're a conservative and you want to preserve traditional culture, then you're some kind of fascist. Do you understand how none of this makes any sense? None of they are presupposing an impossibility that doesn't exist. It's a no-win, non-argument, non-starter.
Yeah.
Make progressive movies about ancient cultures. Does that make any sense? No, it's not historical. But also, if you do it, then it's cultural appropriation. Excuse me. I don't understand what you want then. You can't have it every way that you want. You're asking for something impossible. Am I just being stupid right now?
I think she defines the term cultural appropriation later on, and I think it's a neutral term. So that's it. I was like, oh, this is a fair shake at the term, because usually most of these terms are just adjective noun or adjective verb, and you're like, okay, and then you're like, what does that mean? But she says, no, it's neutral. It's like not good or bad. You're like, really? Huh? Then why are people using it as if it's negative? So I find that fascinating that she's reinterpreting what this term means and how it's used. And I'm like, that's fascinating. Why someone like this? Did people hate her because of that? I don't think so. But it's just this neutering of the terms, which I thought were negative. So let's just, I don't know where she's going with this merchandising of Pocahontas, but that's normal for Hollywood, or at least Disney. So,
oh my God, they want to merchandise something to make money? Wow, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Does Lindsay Ellis have merchandise?
We've aged up the historical figure into a sexy Barbie doll. Middle-aged pudge man John Smith.
John Smith!
has been chiseled into a golden-haired Adonis voiced by Mel Gibson, and it plays into
like a
basically
prince?
every Native American stereotype that even by the 90s had reached parody levels. This movie is so parodic in levels of Disney-ness, I'm surprised Miko didn't have, like, a cute, snarky one-liner that they then printed on millions of shirts that went on to fill millions of cubic landfill feet. The subject of the Disney company and its portrayal of indigenous peoples in service of the Disney brand is massive. So I'm going to have to omit a lot of stuff in the service of streamlining this thing. So
yeah, but Lindsay is doing that. Lindsay's whole platform is doing that. She's appropriating other people's work so that she can make a profit off of it, and in fact, a living off of it. So what's the problem? What's the problem with art or an artist merchandising a piece of culture? Isn't that the entire point of commercial art?
It's the same argument of why these characters are younger and more attractive and have great singing voices and fleshed out and lots of animation in their hair and all the animals can talk and they're attractive. Like, why do you think that is, Lindsay? That's what Disney does.
You know, I gotta say, being attractive is pretty awesome. Lindsay should try it sometime.
You know, it's just for it to be a parody of a Disney. Like, you think a Disney film is a parody of itself? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it can be a bunch of fucking tropes that you're sick of, but that doesn't mean that people were sick of that. People are not sick of the optimism and love story fantasy of the Disney movies. They're not. Why would they be? Just because you're a jaded asshole doesn't mean that everybody else is.
I'm not trying to be negative with Disney films because we could hate on Disney for many reasons, but the content of at least the 90s, even before then, was pretty wholesome. It was pretty good. It wasn't perfect. I'm not saying that I know a great understanding of Native Americans or Renaissance with Beauty and the Beast or whatever, the style of kingdoms and what was like back then, but they're there to entertain.
That's not the point.
It's not. Yeah, exactly.
It's a cartoon.
It's fun for the family.
I'm not exactly familiar with the future of sci-fi, but Evangelion, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. It doesn't work. You can't be criticizing the film for not being a realistic portrayal of what actually happened then, and also criticize it as like, oh, it's a Disney thing. It's like these are two different ideas. Like, you don't. If they made a musical of a war, and everyone's like, why are you singing and dancing? Like, because it's a musical. Yeah, but don't you know that this is about, you know, the Turkish conflict and the Ottoman Empire? It's like, yeah, I understand what we're doing, but the media and the medium that we're using is not that. We're not trying to do that. Like, if you want to make everything as realistic as real life, then what's the spectacular spectacle? You know what I mean? The spectacular spectacle.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that Pocahontas aged up and aged down certain characters, because the idea of an underage Pocahontas falling in love with an older age John Smith or whatever it is does seem kind of weird. It'd probably be a big hit in BreadTube, but you know.
I mean, it's the same. Same thing in like Romeo and Juliet and things like that, and it's just like, why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, God, you aged up. Yeah, because here's the thing: we don't like watching kids fuck each other, you freaks.
Exactly.
I think it's.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry we didn't exactly do a 1-to-1 recreation of the movie It by Stephen King. Yeah. So sorry. I'm so sorry we didn't have a child orgy scene in the movie.
Yeah,
guys. Apologies.
Yeah, I think
it's not faithful.
Making it morally equivalent to how like a relationship that we would see today, and like equivalent to like they would have seen it as probably more normal then. So it makes sense to change it to what we would perceive the way the people then would perceive it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It helps us to get into the mind of the people of that era.
Yeah.
It makes more sense rather than making it a big
also,
issue.
I'm also really sorry that John Smith is an attractive-looking hero. I
jeez, man, we need the ugly girl to fall in love with the ugly guy. That's what we need to have it every time. There's no such thing as attractive people, you guys, and attractive people being attractive and having animal friends and running around and being a cute princess. Nah, don't tell girls that. We need to tell them that they can be construction workers and garbage men.
Yeah. Girls, just be ugly. Guys love it when you're ugly.
Just be inferior men. That's progressive.
And if the guy refuses you, just force yourself onto him.
No. If he refuses you, then report him for sexual harassment.
Yeah, and then force yourself onto him with blackmail.
If they don't like you, it's their problem. You're a perfect princess, but you're not a princess. You're an androgynous queen of something.
You look like the aftermath of a car crash. So
monarch.
Go out there, slay queen, or
don't shave your arms. Don't have a mustache. That's progressive.
Oh dear.
Not grooming yourself is progressive.
Like? You know what guys like? Women who weigh more than a pickup truck, struggling to get upstairs, breathing heavily, on the verge of having a heart attack. Oh,
stop! I can only
unbelievably hot.
Here's Rin Wesley. Just wondering if you guys have covered Molly Bowman's Unpacking the Male Gaze, Birds of Prey versus Suicide Squad on YouTube.
But I want to see that. I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah,
that sounds so stupid.
Similar video.
I love this idea that women being attractive appeals to the male gaze, as if lesbians don't exist, as if bisexual people don't exist, or
this is purely
by their definition, trans people that are attracted to females. Like, you guys are ridiculous with this shit. Stop being jealous of people that are more attractive than you. Fucking dumb.
I cannot help being good looking. I am sorry. Get over it.
Yeah, I can't help being ugly, and I don't give a fuck. I don't want other people to be ugly like me. What are you, dumb? What are you, stupid?
I don't want to be horny anymore.
You're just a sexist, racist, homophobe. No, I'm not. I just don't want you to tell me stupid shit that is bullshit.
If I could give my beauty to other people, I would. But it's just not possible.
What am I strawmanning against for you? This is like this. It's the whole platform. They're like men, men.
Yeah, we're men until Hunky McHunk says I like you. Then men are wonderful. It's always funny, that, isn't it?
I can't believe they're trying to teach little girls that blah 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 blah.
God, men only care about one thing. By the way, I'm just going to gaze at Henry Cavill for 6 hours straight because of his muscles. Yeah, okay, cool.
Dude, I don't even care. That's the thing that I don't think you understand. I don't care. You do whatever you want. Make a feminist thing. Do that. Don't be surprised when the results happen. I'm just speaking. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Yeah. People like to see attractive people in movies. Why? Because they're pretty to look at. People like beautiful things. I don't know. You don't want to actually look at a car crash. Why do you want to look at a metaphorical car crash? Unless you have a fascination with it. Yeah. I don't understand why that's so fucking... Like, weird. They criticize that. As if you're going to design an ugly character that isn't the point of the story. Like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yeah,
Lindsay said John Smith wasn't handsome. I understand that in reality he wasn't handsome.
Yeah, but he could have been handsome by their standards in the 1600s.
No, fuck that. It doesn't matter if he was handsome or not. It does not matter. Yeah, the real John Smith doesn't matter to the movie Pocahontas. Just like how the Aladdin story doesn't matter that it's not the Scheherazade story. It doesn't matter that it's not one-to-one because it's the Disney take.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Historical accuracy in Disney films. I'm not really particularly looking for it. I mean, Seven Dwarves. And they didn't go into show business. Nah, come on, I don't believe that. Come on.
It's like people that watch anime that are like, oh, I'm so sick of seeing high school teenagers going on adventures and doing stuff and being the saviors of the thing. Why is that surprising? Because that's who the audience wants to be. Like, it's aspirational television. So when you make something for kids, what do kids want to be? They want to grow up to be princesses. They want to grow up to be heroes. They want to grow up to be handsome or beautiful and desired. And like, that's not foreign. That's normal. So when a corporation, especially one that's oriented around entertainment like that, picks up on that, why wouldn't they use that? What part of that isn't just pragmatism? I don't understand why there's a moralization about this. Like, this trope is overused. Yeah, because people like it. What's not obvious about that? What is this criticism of the real John Smith wasn't attractive? You never saw him. Nobody knows what he looks like except for a fucking picture. What do you want? Let's change this story to appeal to what we know works, which is everybody's handsome in the Disney universe. Except for the people that are intentionally roly-polies wandering around like...
He just looks like a guy. He just looks like an average guy.
Lovely tash
even
there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, Lindsay or John Smith?
Oh, you're strawmanning by saying they want everybody to be unattractive when she's literally saying that.
Yeah.
Here's Mike Testa. She looks like the aftermath of a drunk car chase. Are you referring to the current photo on screen, or are you talking about like Lindsay's mug shot? Like, what is? Which one are you talking about here?
We're just a bunch of we're just bullying her.
Flip a coin. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And what?
This is a criticism stream.
So what?
This is why isn't she more attractive?
Yeah, God.
Why isn't she more attractive? This is what
-1.
This isn't progressive.
-1 for not being attractive enough. It's like,
if she's going to criticize it for being not attractive or for being too attractive, then why can't I do the opposite based on my sensibilities? What makes one sensibility more practical or reasonable than the other? I don't get it.
I mean, if the argument isn't that this character is too attractive, then what is the argument? It seems like he just said, well, he's attractive. Okay.
I want it to be realistic, except when the realism goes against what I want things to be portrayed as for propaganda reasons. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's like at the end of Pocahontas, it wasn't they all got, oh, it'd be fine. No, the natives got absolutely slaughtered.
How can somebody say, I want the truth of history, and then at the same time, I want it to be progressive? Those things are antithetical to each other. The past is not progressive.
No.
It's like, oh, I want to have more I don't know, mixed race units in my World War II movie because it's progressive. Then we can hire more black actors. It's like, that's a great idea. Now, if somebody makes an anti-history criticism, you have no defense. You made a decision that goes one direction. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, here's his app. Thank you, sir. Being completely fair, Lindsay has had both Quentin and Movie Bob try to be her friend, so as a sex, we haven't sent her our best. I don't blame her. Oh, all right. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, well, she was sucking up to the nostalgia critic class, and then she got too good for them.
Yeah.
Didn't she do the rape rap, or am I thinking of someone else?
Yeah, but she wanted us to delete that from history.
She did the rape rap.
That was before she reformed, and by reformed I mean when the tide of the culture war turned away from angry nerds yelling at old cartoons and shit to being progressive. She's just gonna do whatever's convenient for her, which is hilarious because she's criticizing Disney for doing that.
Yeah. Always remember that Blazing Saddles is still one of her favorite movies, and that's a big no-no and a progressive thing. So just.
Really? Growing up,
I don't know.
I love that.
Progressives.
Yeah, no, I love Blazing Saddles. I just find it hilarious that she says Blazing Saddles is one of her favorite movies, and she tries to stand her saying, "Oh, we've got to be Pocahontas" or something. Bitch, Blazing Saddles. I can't even just. Wow. Okay. So it's quite clear this is all just an act in a show, which makes it even more disingenuous what you say. So anyway.
When did Lindsay Ellis say she wanted Pocahontas to be more progressive? I mean, if you're going to criticize rote tropes of Disney for not changing with the times, what the fuck is that? I want it to be more progressive. I want accelerate. Step on the accelerator. Let's change things. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's not current day. It's not that complicated.
It's like, yeah, I know, but it's like, it's not current day. I said, yeah, I know, it's from the 90s. Yeah, but it should be current day. Well, no, it shouldn't, because it's from the 90s.
It's like all these.
It was made.
It's like all these people that are complaining about something 20 years after the thing came out. It's like there's a difference between complaining, criticizing something, and recognizing what was available at the time, and discussing why it is the way that it is, and criticizing it for not having the same sensibilities as now. Like we have to cancel old films. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, this is what
you're never gonna see an official Disney release of Song of the South ever, because it's offensive. Now, what's next? That's because of the changing Overton window. That's the shifting of the perception of different people. Whether or not that's good, there's going to be more of that. Now, if Pocahontas went away, do you think Lindsay Ellis would be sad that they Song of the South Pocahontas, or do you think she'd be like, oh, that's good? Maybe they could make a more progressive remake of it?
I think she complained about, oh, so you're taking away the only Native American representation. Oh, typical Disney, because they fucking hate non-whites. Clearly that's why they're doing this.
No matter what the corporate leadership is going to be wrong, but also my entire value system and everything is based on this worship of the cultural representation of the thing that I like that comes from it. Like that's such a contradiction of existence. I can't even begin to explain it to you.
Yeah.
All right, here's Alex Halo. Saber is popular and Arthur isn't a girl. Yes, I know. That's the Fate series. They like cute girls as many instances as possible throughout their historical revisionism. I don't know what you want to call that. It's just their fun way of making cute battle scenes with.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
The thing about it is if it, changing history is perfectly fine as long as you don't try and say this is true to history.
Yes. Thank you so much for making that distinction for us.
Well, this is a myth, so we're talking about the mythical King Arthur. So who cares what?
But what I'm saying is, you can make anything about the past. That's perfectly fine, but just don't try and play it off as this is what actually happened. It's like no. If you're going to go down that route, you've got to actually put effort in.
Yeah, exactly. And don't criticize something that's not trying to be completely historical, because it's like there are reasons in movies why people think that there's just infinite technology, you can just do whatever you want, that you can just know everything. It doesn't work like that. It does not. Yeah. There's so many reasons why there are like 1700 movies don't get made a lot with guns, because the whole black powder system is difficult to deal with for filming and stuff. Like there's reasons why things don't get represented faithfully. They don't have the budget for it. They don't have the budget to pay for the historical reasons. They're just trying to make something that is the story. Like, how many different iterations of old Shakespeare stories have you seen that aren't set in the exact time and place that Shakespeare set it? For the sake of making it easier to film. For the sake of making it more modern. You can do that. Just like we've been saying. It's just don't go, the original, as Shakespeare intended in the year 4038 AD. Romeo versus Juliet. That's not it. That ain't it, Chief. And then at the same rate, it's like if you're going to criticize something for not having the sensibilities of the modern era, that's more about what you're saying culturally than the movie itself. Like if people are using the fucking N-word in the 1800s, I'm not fucking surprised. I'm not making a moral statement about it. I'm just saying I'm not surprised. What the fuck is the problem with that? Yeah. You're like, oh, why is this like this? It's because that was the time period.
Alrighty, 5 minutes in, 1 hour and 10 minutes. We slowed down a bit there. That's okay. We can keep going. I doubt we're going to finish, but that's okay.
Apologize, I'm gonna have to leave a lot of stuff out. I should probably also mention that talking about issues of indigenous people as an American is somewhat fraught, because Americans are kind of obsessed with this idea of blood quantums, especially since that is actually how a lot of tribes determine tribal membership.
And a lot of white people have this tendency to claim some obscure Native American ancestry, like it makes them an expert, or it makes whatever they say or do regarding Native American representation totes.
Now she's denying people's opinions.
No, having 100% fucking Cherokee ancestry doesn't make you an expert. Okay, so there's acting like, oh well, they only have 1/16, as if having 100% would. Like, as if that
also,
would
when does
make them an expert?
When does
having fucking retarded?
Certain blood make you how does having certain blood make you an expert in anything?
It's like either way,
when
you
does
still
expertise come from blood quantity?
You know, you still weren't fucking there. I don't care if you're a Native American.
If you can speak Italian, you're Italian. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but it's like saying, well, I've got at least 10% iron in my blood, so I'm an expert in mining. So it's such a stupid point. How much blood you have is what you're an expert in. I can be an expert in the Cherokee. I just have to read history books and learn.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that funny? Like you can actually understand
means nothing
something
about my blood.
Yeah, but you're white. It's small.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're so open-minded.
Fucking white male.
I have a buddy who's Belgian, and he was really ensconced in the Russian community just because his father worked in Russian promotions, so lots of marketing and for Russian people, beauty pageants and music and that sort of thing. But you wouldn't know that unless you asked him, like, how do you know so much about beer? It's like, oh, I was born in Belgium. Like, whoa, really? But everything I know about him is Russian. So it's kind of funny. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more modern the world gets, automatically, the more international it gets. And with the internet, culture has become more centralized and also decentralized at the same time. So it's a very interesting. Plus, there's also just like it doesn't matter where you come from with most subcultures. Like it really doesn't. There's a hip hop culture everywhere that you go. There's car culture everywhere that you go.
Hip hop's dead.
Yeah, that's right. Right, it's dead. There's dead cultures everywhere that you go. But you know what I'm talking about. It's like culture doesn't have to intrinsically be associated with the race or with the civilization that you're a part of. It can be a subsect of what's going on. It can be international. It can be fraternal. It can be religious. Like, this is so self-limiting by saying, oh yeah, I forgot. By the way, you're white, so you're automatically more wrong, even if you know more about what you're talking about. I win.
Yeah. You cannot be an expert in anything because you haven't the right quantity of blood.
You're a quarter Native American. You're not a real Native American. Well, thank you, Miss Progressive. Thank you.
Yeah.
For telling me what I am.
Here's Joe Crazy. Exactly. Clearly, Disney wasn't trying to make a historical movie with Pocahontas. The talking tree spirit is an example of this. There's all kinds of mysticism and magical elements in almost all the Disney films.
There's a raccoon.
Talking raccoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Once your
raccoon blood.
Yeah, once your brain, once your intelligence, that thing that kids are supposed to develop when they're watching these films, go, hey, there's talking animals. That's not real. Wait, there's a talking tree. That's not real. Like it's like, oh yeah, this is a fantasy, right? Like every film from Disney. So
it's like watching Fern Gully and thinking you know everything about logging. So
right. So
logging's bad because I watched an animated movie about it.
Yeah, I watched Tim Curry as a gaseous piece of crap destroy things. I know everything about logging. I have 20% tree bark going through my veins.
Gordon Ramsay's Scottish. He can't be an expert on French cooking.
Yeah. I cannot believe the argument is how much blood quantity you have. You can be an expert.
Well, she's saying that Americans are obsessed with it, and this is going to somehow look. Let me just explain. This is somehow going to circuitously wrap around to. I'm Lindsay Ellis. I don't have the right necessarily to talk for Native Americans, but I have more right than you stupid white oppressors. That's how this is all going to end up.
Look who's talking.
I'm the good guy.
But all the Americans I've ever spoke to, I've never had that. I've got this much blood. I've never had that said to me.
No, the only people that do that are people that are just trying to. They're looking for their identity. That's the thing that people are doing with that.
And Kamala Harris. Those are the only two Americans I know.
Well, that's virtue signaling.
I've actually heard. Yeah, and also false.
But there are people that are like, I'm American, but I'm mixed. I'm this and this, and that's just what I am. What a person is not who they are. And that's the problem with that these people keep making the mistake. They think they're so progressive. It's like, dude, can you just let people be? You don't have to bring up what their race is when they're talking about this stuff. It's not necessary.
I'm like 1/16 Irish, but I wouldn't say, I'm exactly like Dollface. I'm like, no.
I'm 1/16 homosexual. I only suck part of the dick.
Yeah, but it's like me and Dollface completely different. I'm smart, good looking. And have like life prospects, and Dollface is Irish. Completely different.
Completely the same.
I actually have a lot of
completely
English
opposite.
ancestry.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Can't believe anybody would be Scottish or Irish. That's crazy.
Let's go.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can remember my grandparents, talking about how, we had some degree of Indian blood, and it was,
God,
for me,
Johnny is so high.
You don't even know what tribe you're supposed to be descended. I'm not trying to qualify anything I say, except as a student of media studies.
Right,
I am totally well-meaning.
Wow, you called that, Glib.
Contextualize Disney's.
I told you, I know these people, Royu. I'm not
fucking.
I'm not making straw men up. It's easy thinking. They exist in a mind matrix. I do not.
Yeah, but it's the way that what you said was almost said word for word by her. Pretty much.
It was Allah's will.
Of indigenous people and how that has changed over the years. Eisner and Katzenberg thought they were ushering in a new era of artistic credibility. Instead, the film feels more like a mistake.
How?
But now in the era of Moana, much as I still think Pocahontas, sucks.
I've never been popular. I like you.
My feelings on the film and its place in the discourse have softened a bit. Pocahontas was, in many ways, a mistake. In the same way that Song of the South was a mistake. I think history will
there you
only
go.
learn
I told her. What did I say?
on Disney's
What did I
Pocahontas.
fucking say? They're gonna try and take away Pocahontas because it's just as big a mistake to her as Song of the South. The progressive Overton window, the slippery slope argument. She's saying it from the core. It's the same thing to her. Eventually, it'll be Aladdin.
But a need not necessarily be a bad thing. As a wise megamind once said,
There's a benefit to losing. You get to learn from your mistakes.
So the question is, with this little stealth remake they've done with Moana, has Disney learned from the mistakes of Pocahontas?
Here at the studio, we have many artists who have achieved national...
Let's quote Walt Disney, who was dead for 20, 30 years before this ever happened.
Hang on. I missed some of that because I had to rejoin and everything. What has she said? Oh wait, she's quoting Walt Disney. Okay, cool. All right.
Let's fucking go.
She's reanimating his corpse to parade it in front of us to perform like a monkey.
Has Walt Disney learned from being dead? No, I doubt it. But maybe he's spinning in his grave listening to this.
National recognition as painters, in addition to their accomplishments in the field of animation. These men know the value of Henry's advice to be yourself.
In 1962, during a screening in his home in the hills of Los Feliz, Walt Disney watched Robert Mulligan's To Kill a Mockingbird starring Gregory Peck.
Name of God. Do your duty.
After the film was over, Disney lamented to his family, "That's the kind of film I wish I could make." Disney had so successfully solidified his brand that he had branded himself right into a corner with fun, lighthearted family fare, and because of that, he could not make the kinds of movies that were revolutionizing the...
No, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He could just say that I want this kind of gravitas. You don't know what the fuck that statement means. I want to make this film. What does that mean? That's the kind of film I want to make. That's the kind of film I wish I could make. Is that a marker of skill? Is that a marker of the quality of it? What was stopping Disney from doing anything? Disney was on top of the world. He could do literally anything he wanted. He had Buena Vista. Why didn't he do it? He was admiring the skill. That's what I think. And my opinion is just as valid as her fucking extrapolation.
Yeah, I think any filmmaker watching a classic piece of art would go, wow, I wish I could do that. Because it's
all
so
she
good.
sees. All she sees is the race angle. I wish I could make a socially progressive story just as good as that. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like I always have. It's like I wish I could make a film as good as like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Something as good as that, that's so iconic. It doesn't mean I want to remake that one and do all that. I just want you know what I mean. I wish I could write something like that. So that's probably what Walt Disney was thinking. Because I wish I could have had a hand in creating it. It's very weird, this, point.
Ugh, disgusting. Disgusting. I spit on Lindsay Ellis's opinions.
Film industry. Disney was experiencing a creative stemming, at least on the movie side of things, that would follow him until his death a few years later.
Really? Would it? Why is that? What makes you say that? What movies are you talking about? Do you even know what movies you're talking about? Name one.
Walt Disney Studio is the only major movie studio that has a specific brand attached to the sort of movies it puts out.
No, that's not true. Every single studio from the dawn of the studio system had a set. And if you want to go and look at before Disney, look at RKO, the B Team.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. What about Blumhouse, which is the horror movie section? You're just so off. This is like saying This is like saying Coca-Cola is the only soda company that makes a specific type of brand. Get fucked.
What a stupid. But then again, like, do certain brands, like movie studios, have to have a certain type of blood before we can make certain movies or something?
Are you born on this side of America? Yeah, come work for us.
Yeah.
What is the CW? Do they not make a specific type of content? What are you talking about? What about Adult Swim? Do they not make a specific type of content? This is the dumbest statement, Lindsay. You know nothing about what you're talking about, and the only reason why that you're successful is because you're aping the feminist line as a female. You're a hollow suit.
This is stupid, and it's getting away from like Pocahontas being a mistake.
Right. And with
that brand is a certain set of expectations. This problem was especially obvious with several of the
films.
Renaissance-era Disney movies. There was a desire to expand and tell more complex narratives, but the studio was still really constrained by that Disney brand.
How was it constrained?
How was it constrained, especially during the Renaissance?
When you're talking about 2D films that were the last era of 2D filmmaking, where the animations were very successful and people still remember them, people still hum the songs, people still want to perform them on stage. What are you talking about?
People still want to remake them because they've got no fucking new ideas and they just want easy money because they know people will watch it.
Well, all these storytelling things in the Eisner period. What the fuck do you think Pixar was, Lindsay Ellis? What do you think that was? What do you think that all the other Disney projects that were going on simultaneously were? Why are you looking at Disney Animation Studios for new ways of telling stories when that was over in different departments? The fuck are you talking about? What does it mean more? Everybody wants to always tell better stories. That's the progression. That's the progression of a storyteller. What does that have to do with Disney as a whole? What do you mean by that? As opposed to doing what? They're telling Tarzan. How is Tarzan, this ancient thing, any different from telling Grimm's fairy tales? How is Aladdin this new concept? How's They're all old stories. That was the whole Disney thing. So if you're talking about the new shit, why are you making a movie about Pocahontas and not, I don't know, the Atlantis movie? Why aren't you talking about the stuff that didn't work for Disney?
What about Road to El Dorado? Is that Disney?
That's
or was that
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Yeah.
Here is Last of Attack. Is she saying Snow White wasn't revolutionary? The first feature-length animated film in 1937. Oh, there was a whole bunch. There was Dumbo. I'm trying to remember Bambi.
That's 40. Oh, the Dumbo though, you can't. They've cut half that movie out, haven't they, with the crows, which annoyed me a little bit.
Well, there was all kinds like Fantasia, Pinocchio. I remember just because I don't know. I grew up around that. But there was all kinds of really memorable classic films from the 40s and 50s. So he was doing his own thing. It's kind of like two artists. You want to really pull this any further? He's admiring another artist in another part of the world doing a different art form, and he's going, "Wow, look at that." I wish I could do that because my mind is in my business is already here. But again, he's starting a media empire. He's got other ambitions.
I think they did have a formula kind of though, like especially like in the sort of pre-Renaissance era was weird because they were trying to do things other than like princess musical things, like it's where you got like what do you call the Great Mouse Detective and
Great Mouse Detective.
So, like,
was it even the like with the Robin Hood one with the animals?
Yeah,
really
and they were reusing. They reused
Same
a lot of
assets.
animation as well because they reused they sort of traced over animation. I think from Jungle Book for Robin Hood. I think, and I think they also traced over Snow White as well. Like so, they sort of went through this weird period where they were trying to do different than the formula, and the Renaissance was kind of the return to a formula and return to where they basically had like up until Tarzan, they kind of had it's going to be a musical and it's going to be a character that is very basic, like hero's journey structure, where they're sort of in a mundane situation that they want to get out of and they want to see more. They it sort of started with Little Mermaid, where she's like, I want to see more. I want to see more of the world. I want to get out. And they sort of had like a whole load of things, a whole load of movies where it was that very similar idea. So I definitely see the idea of a formula and the idea of like it's the same way now when you have like franchises. Everything wants to be a franchise. Every movie studio wants to have a franchise. That's what the DCEU is they're trying to be like, well, we know that right now this is what's successful with our audience is franchises. And it just happened to be at the time that instead of having franchises and loads of sequels, that the successful formula was musicals with sort of a villain and so like they a lot of the time, a lot of the more recent ones, they don't really have a main villain that is villainous in the way that villains used to be, and that's the sort of the new formula is that, especially basically since Frozen, is that we're gonna have a twist villain. Everything has to have a twist villain, and that's the new formula of Disney movies.
Yeah.
It's just funny because nobody ever talks about the old live-action Disney stuff that wasn't that successful. Not any of these nostalgia people, because they're all attached to what was successful or what was disastrous. They never talk about just the generic shit. They never talk about what Disney's content was, really. Other than these animated films that everybody knows. Snow White and blah, blah, blah. They don't talk about fucking The Legend of Lobo or Bon Voyage or Babes in Toyland, because who fucking remembers that shit? They were making so many different kinds of pictures at the time. I don't think that she's giving a fucking adequate description of what their interests were. You know, Disney felt like his personality was oriented towards one thing as an artist. That doesn't mean that, you know, he had the ability to go out and make To Kill a Mockingbird, because he's not HarperCollins, right? Or whatever the chick's name is. What's her fucking name? I don't think that book is very good.
The point still stands of like, yeah, you are right about that.
They just like that. Harper Lee, that's right. They just like that book because it's about a guy defending a black guy. That they use that all the time. It's fucking rote at this point. And for the same reason why they say that this old trope is rote, I think that this trope is rote and circuitous. But they love it because it's all about progressing. You know
now To Kill a Mockingbird is white savior. So it's all about the white guy saving the black guy. Oh,
and you know why they know about it? Because they were forced to read it in school. They were already oriented it. People didn't seek out people like these cultural critics. I noticed they're given something and then they take ownership of it. Like that's a book that we had to read in school. Night by Elie Wiesel, which was full of bullshit, was a book that we had to read in school. So like I have that in my memory because school forced it on me. Not because it's a good book. Not because it's valuable now.
The whole like revolutionary quality of To Kill a Mockingbird seems so astroturfed. You know, it's like, oh well, this is so revolutionary. We're really changing the zeitgeist or whatever. But it seems so astroturfed. It doesn't seem like it organically just like succeeded. It seems like it was top down. Like it was.
Why do they keep fucking making people read that? The Catcher in the Rye, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck? It's fucking like the thing that people want to hold up. You have to ask people why they want to pronounce something as good if it's not because of the writing quality. It's because of the meaning behind it, what it means to culture. It's usually something that has nothing to do with my opinion.
I just think a lot of this significance is retcon. A lot of this, and it was so significant and it revolutionized films. I think a lot of that is just retcons. It's just retconning. Oh, it was so impactful. I think it's just decided later. Like it's like the narrative that it was so impactful is like decided after the fact, and they retcon it into recent history and go, oh, it was so revolutionary and people cared about it so much. And
it's like the same thing with the Adventures of Robinson Crusoe or something. They have a place in history, but that place in history is in history. It's like that's not a current, it's not a current thing that people are interested in. Robin Crusoe? Does anybody want to see a movie about that?
Maybe a retelling would be interesting, just because I remember it from reading as well as that wonderful Commodore 64 game and other things of that nature. So it could be marketable. Yeah, it could work.
So you're like, all right, here's the reason why I would want to go see it. And I go, that's great. That's the reason why somebody should make it, is if they go, oh, I like this story. I liked seeing it told in this way. I want to see it told in this way. That's interesting. What I don't like is don't like people holding shit up because it has some sort of propaganda value for their team. Like, oh, this tells the story and narrative that we want to tell, so it's good. It's actually good. It could be a terrible narrative, but we're gonna hold it up because it does something that we like. I hate that. Out of almost all the things that I could think of, literary criticism, media criticism, someone holding something up because it's what they believe in over it actually being good disgusts me. And that's what I keep hearing with this kind of criticism. I don't like this thing because it's this thing. Not because it's good or bad. Because it's this thing.
All right. 8 minutes in. All right. Well, we're not going to get even halfway done, probably, but we'll try.
Well, she's saying some really stupid things, though. So it's... Oh, well.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame is the best example of this.
Like fire, hellfire. And as I ring these bells tonight, God have mercy on me. I'm losing to a bird.
Yeet.
For the wine and the cheese.
But Pocahontas is up there too.
Here's what you get when races are diverse. They're not like you and me, which means they must be evil.
The filmmakers originally envisioned
What's wrong with
more
that? What's wrong with him being the villain and saying shit that you would agree with? Like yeah, this is wrong. This opinion this opinion is
wait a
against
minute.
what we
The
say.
villain?
Is he saying that he should have more nuanced racism? And that he's too, that he needs to actually be more nuanced portrayal of racism?
Unbelievable.
Is he saying, oh wow, no, that's not realistic?
I have to go
Or
back a
saying-
little bit to see that.
Huh?
Let's see that.
They're not like you and me, which means they must be evil.
The filmmakers originally envisioned a more, shall we say, historically rooted film. But the
Right.
Okay.
studio head Jeffrey Katzenberg
What does
pushed
that
it to
mean?
what he considered to be more commercial. Pocahontas was originally closer in age to the historical Pocahontas. It was even kicked around for
Is that what you wanted?
a while that the Powhatan characters, yes, would speak entirely in native Powhatan, and Pocahontas would have to go through the process of learning English. Malik style, baby.
What? So this very sexual adult thing with the little kid? Okay. Thanks, Lindsay Ellis. Now
But
you
in
know
the
what you
end,
want.
Most of the decisions that dragged the movie down into mediocrity were born out of Katzenberg's desire to force a Best Picture contender like Beauty and the Beast. Pocahontas was aged up, and it was turned into a Romeo and Juliet-inspired love story, with the language barrier being transversed via listening with one's heart.
What's wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with that message, Lindsay? What are you talking? What?
Glib,
That's
you just
not- that's not-
understand. A underage girl wasn't getting fucked by a 40-year-old man. Come on, everyone knows that's what we want to watch.
Yeah, Katzenberg, this $900 million idiot who made all these great movies and made bajillion dollars.
Animated-
What an idiot!
Like an animated colonial, like Lolita, like movie.
Yeah, that's what she's asking for. I want a more realistic Disney movie with a Lolita. What the fuck? You're a creep, Lindsay. I know you're a creep. I know you're a creep. That's why you virtual signal so hard. There's something creepy going on here.
Yeah, it's all over her face too.
You know
Like hot
something?
dogs.
I don't actually think she turned Movie Bob down. I think she's lying.
Oh my god.
I think this is all a lie now.
What? This guy's Katzenberg is such an idiot that he went from Walt Disney Animation Studios, where he made a bunch of hits, to DreamWorks, where he made a bunch of hits. What a fucking idiot!
Wow.
God.
What a fucking
It's like,
Jew.
okay, Lindsay.
Typical Jew.
Yeah, typical Jew being good at what he does.
Jew. Being good at making entertaining movies.
Being good at
Like a
entertainment,
fucking
yeah.
typical Jew.
Lindsay's saying that, and the best she's done or been involved in is to boldly flee with a nostalgia critic. I'm like,
Oh my God, by the way.
Don't start talking about good movie making.
By the way, I love that Katzenberg's whole thing is that he makes movies about all these different cultures. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we're going to go to Egypt, we're going to do El Dorado, a bunch of chickens in the Holocaust, Shrek. Like, it's all Madagascar, animals. Like, it's all about different places, Kung Fu Panda. And it's like, oh yeah, this fucking racist just wanted to market shit. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Oh,
What are you
God.
talking about?
Like an animated...
Oh no! Oh no! He wanted other people's cultures to be marketable, so more people could watch it and he could make money. What a bastard!
What a
If only he
bastard
made
making
so
it
that
appealing.
So that no one could understand it or listen to it or watch it. God, if only he made more flops. Yeah, okay then.
Fine. As old as the hills. By the time Pocahontas
Oh my
came
God! Just because a trope is old doesn't mean that it's bad. Just like how marriage and having children is an old trope, but it's still good for society. You idiot! It's a trope. It must be bad. Let's not have tropes.
Trope old.
Trope bad. Trope old.
Donald
That should be a thing.
Trope here.
That should be a thing in the bingo. Trope old.
Here's
Donald J. Trope.
Here's Joe Crazy. The book I had to read for class was A Raisin in the Sun. Oh, that sounds.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know that one.
Strangely familiar.
Of Mice and Men was my one.
The teacher got an autism because I said it was a slog to read through. Well, whenever you go through school and you're reading young adult books, or you're forced to read young adult books, or really any book, the teachers usually have a big special connection to it. That's why they teach the class with that book in mind. So they're probably going to react a bit like, "Oh my God, you don't like the Grapes of Wrath? Like what's wrong with you?" I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my God, you don't care about this story about the poor people suffering? It's like, yeah, I know, I do. Yeah, sure. But I don't actually care about this story because I'm suffering in real life enough. Thank you. I don't need to think about somebody else's suffering as, oh, I'm so touched by this. I'm going to become a social activist.
Right.
A dream deferred.
This is why when I was reading like the Chrysalids, you had to read the Chrysalids. I already read like Ender's Game, which is a stupid book, but for kids.
Oh, I'm so glad that you said that. I hate that book.
Oh, I think anything Scott Card does is kind of crappy, but anyway.
Yeah, he's crap.
When you read it as a kid, this is brilliant because you hear all the stuff your brain is thinking, like, oh, I'm great, but I'm not appreciated. I'm smart, but no one knows it. Like all these messages are hitting you. And then you go to Chrysalids, you're like, this is a bunch of kids running away from a bunch of other people because they have telepathic powers. Like, this is kind of weak. Like, it doesn't really interest me that much. So it's like you've read things of the genre. There are better and better authors who write better stuff. So when you go through, it's pretty much anyone who knows any skill or any bit of information, and they go to like grade school or high school, and they're like, "This is come on, I do, I do better things at home with my dad." Like one of my brother's friends, or sorry, my friend actually from school, his dad was a university level English teacher, so he was like teaching his grade school kid about Shakespeare. So it's like, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to read anymore. Tempest, please stop." So every time we had to go to like on a trip, let's go to the young people's theater. It's like, "No, please, I don't want to go." So people read stuff and they get different aspirations and feelings from books. And when you read better authors like Isaac Asimov or whatever, you go, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm happy." All right, 9 minutes in, we're good. Oh, sorry, Alex Halo.
Got
only
some Disney booty right here.
Only anime would make it age accurate.
Yeah, that's a pretty funny comment, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically, yeah.
But they changed they change everything else.
They changed the age, but she'd still be a lolly.
1,000-year-old lolly.
She's a 1,000-year-old Pocahontas, bro. But she actually looks like she's 12. It's okay. It's okay. No. No.
So in what year did the English settlers get giant mechs to fight against?
I would totally watch Native Americans versus Americans with mechs. I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The only other Disney princess arguably as sexualized as Pocahontas was Princess Jasmine, and the year after that,
sexualized.
Look at that disgusting display. Yes, sir.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Yes.
She's like, now she's upset that women are attractive in the Katzenberg movies, which is just funny because it's like, again, yeah, you know what, Lindsay, you'll never be as attractive as those characters. How does that feel? I'm so sorry, but you just sound jealous.
That they were I forget. I don't give a shit about what she's complaining about, to be honest with you.
Don't worry about that, Lindsay. You won't have to ever worry about this problem of being too attractive.
Yeah.
Never again.
Mm-hmm. Your attractiveness is like the Titanic. It's at the bottom of the ocean where it belongs.
It's an inside job.
Like time travelers.
Well, how do you do?
According to an interview with Glenn Keane from 1995, we're doing a mature love story here, and we have to draw her as such. She has to be sexy.
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a concept.
This is a Disney version, not a documentary.
Because I
This
really,
is
really,
not
really
a
want to watch
documentary.
two fat
This may
people
seem-
rubbing up against each other.
Got a problem with beauty.
Harmless. But these
It's not harmless. It's not harmless. You can't have attractive women.
media trends mirror very real problems in the real world to this day. Even now, Native American women are twice the national average in reported rapes and sexual.
Okay.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Wait. Exactly. Yeah. Within their own communities.
Exactly.
So do you want Disney to have more rape in their movie?
Well, maybe they should just teach Native Americans not to rape.
Absolutely based response.
So, Lindsay, let me get this right. So, what you want in Pocahontas is an underage girl, possibly being raped by her own tribe, and then having sex with a over 40-year-old white guy. That would be your perfect Pocahontas.
How do these two things connect? How does the Disney movie Pocahontas connect to Alaskan rape?
How does anything connect to Alaskan rape?
I don't
Beyond.
understand it. She just wanted to make that connection. Again, this is the person that made the rape rap who's complaining about them with rape. This is just her guilty conscience, bruh.
And those are the ones that get reported. Media trends of sexualizing and...
What is this? What? Wow, what are you doing?
But the worst hangover I get from Pocahontas is how it reinforces
She gets a hangover from Pocahontas.
this comfortable lie that white Americans are fed from birth.
What?
Native American white.
This is
what?
Also, they're not what? Those white people aren't American, by the way.
What? I don't even
Those
understand
white people
the
aren't
words
American
that
as well.
you're
They're
saying.
English.
I
by the
literally
way.
don't understand
So-
what she's even. I don't understand what. I don't even fucking understand the English words that she's speaking. I feel like I'm speaking a different language right now.
All I know is that chicken looks good.
Yeah, at
That
this
things
point
were a
it's
little
going
tense
to
at
pretty
first.
much complete nonsense.
But ultimately, the whites and the natives got along and everything was fine. Like, seriously, the movie both sides is the whole issue. Yeah, the English...
Well, some of them did. And most of the problem was that these two cultures do not mix. It's actually not anybody's fault that these cultures do not mix. It's the programming of both cultures that are seen as the de facto way of living. And the inability for them to hybridize or whatever it is that they were trying to do is just a result of that. But in actuality, this predates America. And so if you want to have this narrative that
Glib?
society people don't really give a shit.
You died halfway through that.
Where are you?
Yep.
Still
How
there?
about that? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Now you're
yeah,
back.
we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Well, what did I cut out?
What did you cut out?
10 seconds
halfway
ago.
through? I cut.
Oh, well, I don't know. Whatever I was saying I was just saying everybody wants to get along at this point. That in America today, it's like this is the narrative that we want to believe in. We want to all get along. And I don't understand why people are insistent that we don't. Why does she keep, why is this a narrative that Americans don't want to get along with each other?
Yeah.
The whole
Also,
struggle
the
has been
thing-
trying for us to get along. I don't get it. You're saying
Yeah,
that
but the thing is,
she's legitimately saying that we're brought up as white Americans and told that we all got along in the past. And then what? But then what? We're supposed to be white supremacists after that? I don't understand that. What's the point of teaching kids that we should all get along if there's some sort of white supremacist narrative? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the thing you have to remember about America is it literally just boils down to two cultures both wanting to be in control of the land.
Yeah.
The Western culture had guns. The Native American culture didn't have guns.
It's that simple,
At the
and
end of the
it's
day,
not offensive.
That's literally how it came. Gun beats spear. I don't know how many times that lesson has to be repeated to people.
It's not even a moral thing.
Yeah,
It's not
everything.
It's not even like an indictment on the culture's inability to develop gunpowder. It's like Native American culture didn't need it. They never developed it. They had a system of living that didn't require the same things that the Western culture did. They didn't come from the same culture. That's the reason why they didn't have immunity to smallpox. Because these two alien cultures against each other. Because when they come up against each other, they're two distinct units, and their distinction is what makes it difficult for them to integrate. Are you really going to integrate Western culture with this ancient culture? They're two different systems. Now, in modernity, we absolutely should. We should learn the permaculturing ways. We should have a more rooted sensibility. We should have the ancestor worship and live closer to the earth. And the materials and all the Native American ideas of the Americas are great things to understand. But at the same time, we can't be fucking wandering around hunting down buffalo. That's not... Civilization is walking with us. We can't just go back completely. So what is the resolution here? And that's the problem with these criticisms. These criticisms don't lead to a resolution. They lead to war. We have to go to war with this Western culture that wants to tell us that everything's going to be okay. That's what she's going to do. When in reality,
No,
she's going to say that everything's fucked. That's what she's going to say.
But it seems like she's pro revenge, like just infinite revenge forever. Like
Yes.
there's no.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens with girls who get bullied at school for being fat and ugly. So they always want revenge.
Well, maybe that has something to do with this. I can't tell.
Like there was a thing. I can't remember what it was, but it was someone who said that there's no price that you can put on the suffering caused by whites on Native Americans and blacks. And it's like that's
okay. Then don't do it. Then
kind of standard is like what the actual fuck. So it's just there's no point where you're gonna go. Okay, that's enough. There's no point. It's just infinite. There's no point where you go. Okay, that's probably enough.
If it wasn't, if it wasn't
retarded.
End, what would they?
It's just
what
fucking
would they complain
retarded.
about?
Like this sort of unquantifiable grievance peddling, where it's just there's no end to it. It's just retarded.
Well,
I don't care if they on some level deserve something. I don't care. I don't care about what they quote unquote deserve. It's a silly thing. It's like I guess a scenario would be like you have this person who killed a loved one, right? There's a person who killed some loved one of yours, and you go to their house, and their child, the child of this horrible person, stands between you and them. It's like, are you like morally allowed to just shoot the child in the face if that means getting your revenge? If that's what's needed to get your revenge? To me, that's like, no, you don't deserve it that much. Like, you don't deserve the revenge that much. You know, it's like it's also it's like fucking Merchant of Venice with the fucking pound of flesh. You know, it's like he can't take his pound of flesh because if he draws a single drop of blood, then he's taken more than he's owed. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing where this infinite revenge thing, it just doesn't work. You know, it's just silly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I officially have a headache. I don't know how that came about, but this kind of relates to the next super chat. Snyder cut is trash. Worse than the theatrical cut. Fight me. There's reasons why it's good, and there's reasons why it's better or worse than the theatrical cut.
I don't even compare it. I think that the comparison that people keep making doesn't do a service to film criticism. I know people are thinking of the theatrical cut when they're watching this, but I think that they should just think about other movies instead if they want to make a relative comparison. Because the movie itself is fucking garbage. I just don't understand how people can. And if it's not, it's like exactly like the Marvel iteration, but just dark and gritty.
This is the argument I make: is there's exposition which is necessary at times, which was not in the original, but because there's so much exposition, it slows things down, and you have so many things happening, and some of them aren't even relevant to anything. So it's like, I don't know. I was thinking of when people watch The Sound of Music at Christmas. It's like a 3-hour long video roughly. But there's breaks, there's intermissions. There's like that's how it was cut. So it's like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. With this, it's like a 4-hour slog. And your brain is just wandering half the time like, okay, who's doing what and why and who's that and why is there so much backstory? Why is there so much music about every time Wonder Woman pops up on the screen and
whenever they played that whoa theme or whatever, I wanted them to play the actual Wonder Woman thing, the da 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 da, because it's cheesy. Like Zack Snyder doesn't realize that everything that he does when he's doing the melodrama thing makes his characters look cheesy. He plays it off as serious instead of playing it as what it is, which is fucking a bunch of superheroes posturing. Like it's a bunch of wrestling.
Which is how Marvel got so big, because they do it justice for what it is.
Yeah,
that's why they hired Joss Whedon, but it didn't work because his stupid humor is not really what they want. People want the writing to be serious, but they want the characters to be happy.
Yeah, we could say that his technique was the slow-mo or whatever idea behind making that thing of walking across a park really important for Lois Lane or whatever the hell it was. Fine, that's his technique. But there were some shots that dragged on, like the briefcase shot, which was multiple shots of a briefcase going through a building as a bunch of guys try to, shoot up the room and go from room to room, and you're just like, why are we stuck on this briefcase for 5 minutes? And it just keeps going, and it's like, okay, there's Wonder Woman. Oh, here we go, a fight scene. And she obliterates this guy. I think she did more damage than the bomb did that was expected to blow up the building. Like she just, like the whole side of the wall was gone. He was nowhere to be seen. I don't know how the people in the room survived. Like it's just like, what the hell is going on? So there's a lot of crap in that film that you can argue makes some parts better because there's more exposition, there's more detail, which I like, but it takes so long to get there and it's so slow. And we're talking about a 4-hour film, which is not consumable on average for people to sit down and watch. Like you have to take breaks, you have to go to the bathroom, reassess your life, whatever it takes to keep going through that thing. But anyway, that's another talk. We're going to keep going. Jake again, I guess we're going to forget Native Americans slaughtered each other and English colonizers for little, if any reason. History better you bent. Yes, we talked a little bit about that previously. They are very, very warlike and aggressive, yes. Okay.
Especially at the Canadian-American border. In those areas, there's a lot of violence.
Oh yeah, especially with Britain.
Because but they were the more warlike tribes, while the Plains nations were just like traveling all over the place. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. One more from Jake the Surgeon. This is: are we going to start talking about the inaccuracies of how hyenas are portrayed in The Lion King, and that will lead to the the hatred and sepaching of them?
The what? The what?
I can't. Dispatching, maybe? What would you mean sepaching? I don't know what that word is. Well, yeah. Poaching, maybe. I don't know. So, the point of these films is for kids, to entertain them, to show them the entertaining side, which is action-packed, a little bit of drama, a little bit of love, a little bit of everything with music, because kids like to dance. Kids like to sing. It's entertaining for them. Mm-hmm. So, with that in mind, you have to go, oh, talking animals, singing animals. What's that all about? Why is Billy Crystal singing as a weird little critter?
Billy Crystal meth?
Yeah. So there are reasons why we do silly things like this. And it's for kids to have a good time. It's not
kids aren't allowed to have a good time anymore. We have to torture them with social justice and stupid, what is it, Common Core math? Torture the children.
Really?
That's the new paradigm. Kids probably, you never hear the kids talking about what they want. You always hear about what people want kids to learn. It's really funny. And it's how many people.
What I like is it's childless adults telling us what kids want.
Oh, that one's really good too.
Okay, I'm pretty sure WandaVision phrased it did it the best. It's like for the children. You could just put that here in the.
Do it for the children. Save them all. Some stupid shit.
The greater good.
You can't tell me that doesn't
for the
fit
children
well here.
It's for the children. I mean, I know I hate them and like they're disgusting, snotty-nosed little brats, and I'd rather they not exist. But I'd like to push my political ideology onto them. That would be the best thing. Okay, cool. Anyway, stay 500 fucking miles away from my child, and
the future is the children. That's why we have to indoctrinate them.
Mm-hmm.
Had guns and smokes and decades of
Can just
driving the
entertain
natives
kids
off
and
their
teach them
lands,
funny
but
things.
the Paladins jerks too, you guys.
Savages. Killers at the core.
Based.
They're different from us.
They're different from us. Kill them all.
Which means they can't be trusted.
Yeah, isn't that song like the irony? Is she too autistic to understand what that song means? Stop judging others for being weird looking.
Wait.
Apart from the French.
Indians calling the Europeans savages?
I mean, yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They were. They was, man. We was savages and then
so
shit.
Good, man. They was just like, wow. I'm sure they're just misunderstood. I'm sure that's what they were saying. Right? And
they shot my cousin. They're a bunch of gentlemen.
They just scalped them ironically, bro. Just a cheeky prank.
Mind blown. The studio purported a desire to honor Native Americans, and I'm sure there is some truth to that. But at the
I'm
end of
sure.
the day, the film just kind of reinforces this myth of the founding of the country that we are force-fed from birth, like a goose being fed for pate.
What are you on about here?
What a...
But not everyone reads it like that.
According to Russell Means, this
According to sad crying Native American man.
film is the finest feature film ever done about American Indians in
according
the
to
history of
Satya
Hollywood. It's so
Longball,
revolutionary.
yeah.
It shocked me when they showed it to me. The first thing that shocked me was the truth. The Eurocentric males are admitting why they came here, to kill Indians
White
and
man
to rob
came
and
to
pillage.
America
That's never
to
been
rape
done
and
before.
pillage.
This is
What? That's not why they came.
What? No.
What?
No.
That's not why
Literally,
they fucking came.
The fucking Puritans came over to escape persecution to set up a new world, not to rob and pillage.
No, no. That was the reason. And then when they killed him,
No, yeah, the incredibly religious group that literally hated violence, literally hated, didn't want anything. Literally, they were so bland that.
I mean, he's pretty based. He was a libertarian, so I'm cool with that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know about, but the Puritans, when they were there first, were like the most blandest of bland people, and literally just went there to escape persecution in Britain. They didn't go over there to rape and pillage the Native Americans, who they didn't even know existed.
I mean, to be fair, I don't have anything really against Russell Means. He's pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
I like his comments. I like that he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. A bunch of European came here to rape and pillage. Yeah, that's a pretty based way of looking at it.
Yeah, but it's
the first time human face has been put to an Indian female. No, thank you.
This is also the first on
Indian
Northern
female.
exposure
You mean
that
a
a human
Native
face has been
American
put on an Indian
My opinion's justified because I'm quoting Russell Means.
female. Here is this
Yeah.
young woman who is wiser than her father or any man in the village, and she causes peace to reign. It's
Based.
beautiful.
Based.
Without going too deeply into it, let's just
Because you
say
don't
that
actually know what
Russell
it's about,
Means is
but go on.
somewhat controversial in the activism world.
Here we go.
Russell Means was the actor who played.
I love it. Here we go. Here's how she's
Jesus,
gonna be
controversial.
criticizing for being a base libertarian that ran with Larry Flint for president. It's fucking great. I can't wait.
Pocahontas' film. He was also a Lakota Sioux activist for Native American rights.
So he's totally way more Native American than Lindsay Ellis will ever be, which is why she made that thing before. Like, yeah, I know a lot of half white people, blah blah blah. Russell's actually a member of the Lakota, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Rights and a leader of the American Indian movement in the 1970s, helping to organize the standoff at Wounded Knee in 1973. According to the LA Times,
Based.
Russell Means brought instant legitimacy
Oh,
and
the
authenticity
LA
to
Times,
Pocahontas.
okay.
I
Based.
haven't abandoned the movement for Hollywood, said Means.
She's forgetting that he was in Last of the Mohicans.
I've just added Hollywood
Yeah,
to
I
the
know.
movement. The entertainment world is a powerful venue for revolution, particularly now that there are 500 channels on the horizon and the global
This
market
man
is
is too
so big.
based.
Many of Means' former activist colleagues did not agree with his interpretation on the media, or that
Why?
he was helping to champion the causes he purported to champion by the media he was participating in.
But my point
This man
here
is
is
too
that
based.
the legacy of Pocahontas.
Oh,
She
so
had
no
nothing.
evidence, no evidence.
She had nothing.
So no evidence of
She's
those
nothing.
people saying that stuff.
No counter arguments.
So he has.
No.
Hang on. So he has a clip of him saying his thing, and then just nothing. For the
I'll clip of him that.
ridiculous.
Also showing him protesting and helping sign these treaties and stuff, and
he had all
doing
this
things.
evidence for him.
But some other people in this movement don't like him. I'm not going to name any of these
Then
people. Who
nothing.
obviously
Silent.
don't exist. And I'm just going to move on to another point. But just remember that I'm disregarding everything that this guy says because some random people who I'm not going to tell you who or what, say he wasn't doing enough. Cheers. Thanks, Lindsay.
Usually-
might as well just.
Usually in an essay, if you're going to make a point across, you would sort of omit this knowledge if you don't have a counter argument. You just, by the way, here's all this body of evidence that contradicts me. It's like, oh, here it is.
Yeah. Lindsay is literally the person who, if a cannibal got hold of her and opened her skull, the cannibal would starve to death. She's such a brainless bimbo that has nothing of value to say or do, and this video is just getting stupider by the second.
It's great.
She literally did all that thing. What's the Native American? By the way, Native American. I keep calling it, but she keeps saying Indian. which I thought wasn't the correct term. But what
No,
do I
that's-
know?
it's-
I'm a right-wing racist.
No. They keep changing it because there is a thing called the American Indian movement, and that's part of what Russell Means invented, and
Oh,
that's why
right,
it's so
okay.
funny because they change it up on the people that actually are a part of the movement.
I've heard
Like,
Amerindian. I think is that. That's
look,
the-
Native American as a term in America was actually used against like foreign influence in the early 1800s because of banking and stuff, because of the labor market. It's more complicated, obviously. So when they were saying Native Americans, don't forget about our interests, they were talking about people born here. So that got switched later up to the propaganda term of all the Native Americans are people that are Indian people, even though they came over from the Alaskan land bridge. Their DNA connects to Asia, and it's like everybody. Nobody from America is native here, except for the people that were born here, but they're not even really native in the larger sense, which is what people are considering. So it's a bunch of circuitous bullshit. But the funny thing is that Russell Means is way, way cooler than Lindsay Ellis will ever be, because he actually took part in the Alcatraz protest, and he also took part in an actual face down, whatever you want to call it, with the fucking American government, the Marshal Service, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
So like he's been involved in much more actual activism.
He's actually doing. So
he's lived a real life. And he's lived on Indian reservations. You know what I mean? And he's from there.
Done is,
and all she's done is watch some Disney films and take a gender studies class. He actually ran for public office. He ran to be the president of the Sioux. So it's like, there's a lot of shit, you know what I mean, that he's done.
I still love her. She said all of that stuff, and literally she disregards all of it because some people who she's not named nor provided any proof may have said something against it. It's like, okay, cool. See, I don't believe you when you say anonymous source that I'm not even going to show you.
Yeah, this is exactly like the fucking fact-checking thing where it goes, some people dispute this claim.
It's like, yeah, well, which people? What am I going to tell you? Okay, so I don't believe these people exist. No, they do exist. Okay, show me something they said. Oh, well, no, it's fine. Just trust me. No, I don't trust you. Why would I ever trust you?
They took over a replica of the Mayflower to protest the Puritans on Thanksgiving in 1970. They took over Mount Rushmore to protest that Rushmore was built in the Black Hills, which is a sacred Lakota tribe area. It's like that's what you do. That's real activism.
Yeah.
That's real 1960s, 70s shit.
Yeah,
that's what they did. But Lindsay Ellis will never ever get there because she doesn't want to leave the house. She wants to talk about Disney.
Yeah. But if I leave my house, a big scary black man might attack me. Oh no, I mean white supremacist.
It's like if she was making a criticism of Star Trek, and because they had the King of Jordan in Star Trek as a cameo, there's some sort of problem. It's like, oh, it lends legitimacy to this idea that Star Trek will lead to a futuristic thing. But really, Jordan has this thing called SOFEX, where all the militaries in the world come to buy guns and shit. So it's really bad. Like, it's just a bunch of garbage coming out of her noggin from her processing her reality and her history and her nostalgia for her own education and all that against this new ideology that she has. And then she spits it out and makes a video, and everybody else going through the same identity crisis latches onto it like, yeah, this is really good. I think that too.
Yeah.
Is more complicated than thing good or thing bad. So, cultural appropriation.
No.
Cultural appropriation, even though I just said that this fucking guy who's been dead when she made this, he was dead for 5 years, so he can't defend himself. He's done all this stuff for his tribe, and you're saying, oh, it's cultural appropriation because this guy who probably met with Katzenberg, who probably talked about the terms of doing this, who probably looked at the script and went, I like this, and even said what he liked about it. He just explained why he thought it was good. This man who protested the Puritans' treatment of Indians by taking over the Mayflower replica said that this Disney movie was good enough for him. And yet, here comes this white bitch in the Karen outfit to ask us, can I speak to the manager? This is cultural appropriation. Like, fuck
Lindsay,
you, dude.
What's your Native American blood quantity? Because I've been told by somebody that that's how you know you're an expert on stuff.
Americans seem to be obsessed with that, but I'm actually a spiritual Native American. I was born to the Pahauto tribe. Papaupo tribe. My name's Lindsay Ellis.
I was born to the Tartar Sauce tribe in East Kansas.
Oh, yes. The great dipping sauce in the sky. Calls to you, brother.
R.I.P. comment section.
Here's a totally unrelated Japanese whatever
What?
thing that the Japanese would like
Who
if they saw
fucking
it.
cares with the Japanese?
I'd like to take it back.
Is that
So
Avril
Yo,
Lavigne?
who gives a fuck? The Japanese
Is that
aren't
Avril Lavigne?
even by so that's
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh.
What?
Jojo.
God, I mean,
but
he was a
who
skater
cares?
boy.
The Japanese
She
aren't
said, "See
oppressed.
you later, boy."
They're not an oppressed
But, you
group,
know-
even by like her like standards. They're not an oppressed group. They weren't colonized
the
by the
fuck?
Europeans.
What
they're-
the
but there's not
actual
really-
fuck is going on with
There's
this
really
video?
just like power dynamic.
This is
thing.
completely irrelevant.
So it's
okay.
none of these like power dynamic like shit that she likes to sort of
Oh
imply
my God.
with Native Americans or with
Why-
blacks or with whatever exists with the Japanese. So none of that is it's.
I
Why
didn't
even
know
bring
that
this
Avril
up?
Lavigne
This
did a
isn't
song.
even.
I didn't even realize she did a song about this.
Did you not
motherfucker.
remember
This-
this?
No, because I've got a life,
This is
dollface.
from when was this from? Was this like 2011 or some shit?
Yeah, but I've actually got a life. I don't pay attention to like what lonely people on the internet have to say about cultural appropriation that doesn't fucking exist. Oh, this week's fucking anger point. Okay.
A few dozen steps and talk about some of these theoretical terms that have become politically loaded
Is that
over the last few
Chinese or
years,
Japanese?
particularly cultural appropriation.
Okay.
As a theoretical term, cultural appropriation
Oh my
is
god.
What was that?
I want to.
What
I wanna
is
hear,
this?
I want
Why?
to. I also like. I also
Yeah, it was
like.
Gwen
How,
Starks' father. Yeah. What the
Haven't
fuck is
seen
this?
all right, let's see. Let's see.
bad nor. It just describes a sociological phenomena. It may have deleterious or positive effects
How
on
is it
certain
a
groups,
phenomenon?
but the term
Right.
term itself is neutral. Cultural appropriation is the adoption or
Wait a second. Wait, what? How is this a phenomenon? It's really simple. Someone says something from a different culture. They say, "I like spaghetti." You go, "What's spaghetti?" "Oh, it's like noodles, but it's called spaghetti." And you make spaghetti the next night. You're like, "Oh, I culturally appropriated Italy." Like, oh my god. Like,
I just stole a piece of Italy's soul. I just ate the tomatoes. Those Italians.
it's not a
will never
phenomenon.
recover.
It's not some mystery. It's not some weird thing.
Why?
I'm white and I
Why-
eat sushi, bitch.
Why? And also, what is wrong with?
I know how to tango. Take that, Spain.
Oh
No, I'm
god.
confused.
You think
I
you
just like
studied
the
the
fact that she
sword,
shows
but I know you
literally
better,
shows.
Japan. My katana
I-
is sharper than your soul.
I like the fact that she only showed two middle-aged ex-emo girls who are quite clearly in the twilight of their career, who are desperate to get that next number one. And yeah, look, this is cultural appropriation. No, that's just called singer is trying to do something different for attention.
Can someone make one of those fucking deep fake singing things with my avatar?
No,
I heard the synthwave version of Bakamitai. It's fantastic. So
Who stole my
Oh,
spaghetti?
Jesus.
I just this is such a stupid fucking point.
All right, let's go.
I'm just also getting a lot of flashbacks to my
she's
teenage
giving us the
years.
definition. That I'm sure we'll have something to say about it.
Yeah, sure. All right.
or use of elements of one culture by members of another culture.
Wow.
Okay. Do you understand that?
Wow.
Such a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Let's say that one more time.
Wow.
Cultural appropriation is the adoption or use of elements of one culture by members of another culture.
Now, that implies that a culture can own something, right? Now, when we say like if Americans had culturally appropriated the British flag, right? That would be really stupid, right? Because it would be the sign of another civilization, right? But does this apply to the adoption of, I don't know, soap? Americans
Toilet
can't speak
paper.
English anymore because it's English?
Oh no.
What does this apply to and
again.
what doesn't this apply to?
Yeah. It's a bit like I just. Yeah.
I can't wash my balls because that's appropriating soap culture from Brithonica or whatever.
Yeah, if I remodel my my bathroom in the Japanese style, I've appropriated their their style of cleanliness and other things. You can't do that. That's
Fucking
bad.
Dutch. I can only wear wooden shoes. Shit.
Definitely
Yeah,
not because you like what it looks like and you want to use it for your own stuff. No.
Yeah, I just.
Personally, I welcome our
Yeah, but
Japanese
how
toilet
much-
overlords.
Yeah.
Look, we all need to be progressive and adopt the same values, but also you're not allowed to use anybody else's culture. So everybody has to be distinct for something. So which is it? Are we supposed to be distinct units that stick to our own culture and our own kind, or are we supposed to be progressive people that all want to be equal? What the fuck?
Yeah.
How can you have two distinct
Diversity is our strength.
Right. So,
by the way, everyone be as least diverse as you can because it's cultural appropriation. Wait, what?
Right. When we talk about diversity in Canada and America, we say America is the melting pot and Canada is the quilt, but we still accept immigrants regardless. We still say, "Hey, welcome to our society," and we get along. We learn from each other. We have all these wonderful options for food and drink and whatever for
We
festivals.
hope you spend your money here.
Yeah,
if we shouldn't culturally appropriate, then we shouldn't be diverse. Then we should have nationalism as the foundational logic of all of our countries.
Yeah.
But then you get that makes her the villain of the Pocahontas narrative.
Yeah.
On both sides, it makes her the villain, regardless of whether or not she was the white man or the slightly darker man. The light man or the dark man. Which one you want to be? It doesn't matter, because what you're saying is that these cultures can't adopt each other's customs, which means that they can never get along. They can never be the same culture. There's no such thing as assimilation. Assimilation equals appropriation. So you're fucked. You literally cannot function on her personal opinion of the world, which is why she probably gets a migraine after watching a movie about people getting along.
Yeah. What a stupid video.
I remember the conversation I had with my uncle who watches a lot of Series A soccer. He's like, look at all these foreign guys in Juventus or whatever. It's like, dude, these guys were like born in Italy. They all speak Italian. It's like, like he figured that out eventually, but it's like he wasn't expecting that because he came to Canada decades ago, but because he follows it so close, he's like, yeah, you're right. All these guys are either native to Spain or UK or whatever, and they all come to Series A because that's where they like to go for whatever reason. But they're all of different backgrounds. They all speak Italian. It's amazing. So this is normal.
Well, it's like when they come over to play football in the UK. They all try and speak English, and even the stuff. I mean, God bless it. Even the Scousers try and speak English, and that's really difficult for them. So hey ho.
So this is not a phenomenon. This is called immigration. This is called getting a job. This is called making a living. And thank God we have stuff like fish tacos in Toronto because they're amazing. And I don't know how the hell the Mexicans made it or invented it, or maybe some Asian guy came by. I love sushi, and then we're like, I love tacos. But what do we do? Like, I don't know.
I just like it when anytime somebody who's not English is speaking English. I'm like, that's cultural appropriation. You're stealing other people's words. What the fuck is wrong with you? But then you think about English, and you think about how many words are stolen from French or from Latin. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe appropriation is how people learn. Yeah. That's how people share.
Well,
how dare you appropriate what I have rightfully stolen?
Yeah, but it's like in the UK. They also about with Indian food with curries and stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's appropriation. It's like, you do know that the curries that you eat in the UK aren't from India. They're made. Like the whole recipes and stuff are British, like recipes and things. Why is that? Well, because we've got meat in our curries and stuff. The Indians don't have meat in their curries, and it's like we just took something and then made it our own. It's like that's not really good. What's wrong with that? Oh no, but that's stealing stuff. No, we made something completely different. If you
how is it stealing? Are you talking about stealing an idea? Is there like does intellectual property ideas apply to a culture? Is there like some sort of joint ownership that you have once you're born into it?
I think the fucking statute of limitations has run out on that.
On the patent is
I mean,
it's
just
like literally like thousands of years, and you're just like, I don't know, man. I
can't.
think,
no one outside of China can drink tea.
I can't think that's public domain at this point. I don't know.
It also betrays their whole opinion.
No one outside China can use gunpowder either.
Yeah, it's like if it's invented in one area, you can't use it in another. It's like, well, then you're fundamentally against culture developing equally. Then, so then are you saying that the Native Americans deserve to get bombarded because they couldn't invent guns? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
They invented. Oh, the Americans invented all this shit, so nobody should have given them guns to fight back. So what is it that you're saying? Like, it's such a. Here's the point. Her logic doesn't lead anywhere. It just sounds good when she's saying it. She's like, this shit in the past. Jeffrey Katzenberg. It's like, no, you're not. What you're saying doesn't add up to anything. It just sounds like
yeah, because
you're virtue
but the thing
signaling.
is though, her audience have got the memories of goldfishes, so they don't
Exactly.
remember what she said 5 seconds ago. So all this crap that comes out is a new. They're hearing this for the first time, and then they forget what she says, and we notice that these sentences are contradicting each other, like literally after it. But her fans are going, "Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Well, what did she say? Well, I don't know. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good." And it's like, okay, cool. Fucking retards! There's just too many retards on the fucking internet.
Make sure that just saying that doesn't get the stream taken down again.
That's all it is. That's what I mean when I say cultural appropriation is a neutral term. For instance, the fact that I wear a clotter ring, this is a form of cultural appropriation.
No!
Oh my god, are you?
Oh my god! Shut! Yeah, I know you're not fucking Irish because, like, even the Irish have some fucking brains.
What?
Jesus fucking Christ!
What?
No.
What?
No, this is what I don't believe. She's married.
What? Huh?
She's married.
What? No, she's not married. No, she's not.
Isn't
Because
that
it's not on the third finger? It's on the middle finger.
Oh, then why does she wear it? It's for marriage.
It's an Irish ring. But it's not. It's a. What
is going on?
She's about to justify why she does something that goes against her value system, but it's not okay for you to do it.
What?
This is gonna be really fun.
Also, hang on. Go back. Let's see what it is. Is this actually an Irish ring, Dolphy? Since you're Irish, so you should
all right,
know.
you fucking Irish.
For instance, the fact that I wear a clotter ring.
A clotter ring?
Yeah.
What is
Clotter
that?
ring.
I have no idea. What the fuck
It represents love and loyalty. Usually, you give it between people who are about to get married, or that's the actual ring you give to people in Ireland. That this is what they do.
I guess.
Well, let's hear a reasoning.
Is it?
Let's hear a reasoning.
This is a form of cultural appropriation. I'm not Irish. I studied Irish when I was in college.
Shut up!
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
studied Irish.
This is like when Tony Soprano goes to Italy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and they're like, I studied in Italian college. Some bullshit.
But I don't know if I have any Irish ancestry. I might not. If I do, it's so far back in the ancestry line as to be completely irrelevant. So this is actually a form of cultural appropriation.
Okay, so what's wrong with that?
If you happen to be American and want a more subjective understanding of what cultural appropriation
a more subjective understanding? What does that mean?
What the fuck? I'm sorry, but I'm still just getting over that I haven't got Irish ancestry,
But
or
yeah,
it might
I
be so
think,
far back. Yeah, okay.
I think this fucking ring
dumb
thing
bitch.
is one of those things that sounds really interesting or whatever to people who aren't Irish, but I feel like it's like I might have heard of it at one point, but it's like so insignificant.
I studied Irish. What does that mean?
Studied Irish.
What is that? What part? Irish what?
Like I had to ask.
I've never heard of an Irish subject in like university.
I studied Irish.
In primary school, I had to. They wouldn't let you go to the toilet if you didn't ask in Irish. So you had to ask permission to if you wanted to go to the toilet. You had to ask in Irish.
Yeah, but where would you?
So it wasn't like just
there was
learning
no point
it
to
as
that point. No.
It wasn't just learning it as like an intellectual exercise.
Hey,
it was like part of life.
As a person,
but it's
as
just
a person
like
who's got more Irish blood in me than Lindsay, I am offended that she would wear that ring, and I'm honestly going to write a long Twitter rant, and I'm going to get her cancelled because disgusting behaviour, appropriating my culture.
I'm gonna appropriate that ass.
In movies even is. One of my favorite examples is from a 2003 Bollywood movie called Galhonaho.
I'm crazy about you, pretty woman.
This movie takes place in New York. This was filmed in Toronto.
Okay, so what?
So?
Everything
what?
in
What is your point?
God, Toronto.
What does this have to do with Pocahontas?
Wait a second. Maybe we need like a specialist to give us a subjective interpretation of like cultural appropriation.
Where
Maybe we need a
Canada
specialist
that's
to
like
investigate.
everywhere is filmed. Like there's Is it Vancouver where like most of the places are like most of the movies are filmed, where it's like everywhere?
There's different places. Canada has a film board.
I can't just see my mind ever going, I need a subjectivist to come in and give me their opinion on something which they have no understanding of in an objective sense. It's like, hey, scientist man, here is this dog to teach you physics. It's like, what? No, that's stupid. Why would I?
We should do that though. We should have a dog coming in. Just suddenly the dog starts talking about physics. It's got like a little cute little lab coat. You'd be like, I'm a Labrador. This is my lab coat.
And yeah, this is a form of cultural appropriation.
How is it, or is it just like referencing
cool.
Americana?
Yeah.
Huh?
Cool.
The flag?
Yeah.
What's the problem? I don't
Dancing.
Get it.
I like to use this example because unless you're super into anime, most Americans
Excel Saga
has American culture on the other end.
What? That was Excel Saga. I couldn't believe it. Oh my
Do
god.
you feel appropriated American?
What the fuck is going on
I have no
here?
idea what because they're dancing in front of an American flag. There's some sort of appropriation. What does that mean?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Pretending
It takes place in America.
They're not actually American.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. I love
Here's the
seeing
thing.
stereotypes of my culture because I have no idea what it's like to not be American. Fucking
Yeah.
crazy. It's great. I love seeing other people talk about my culture and shit on it or praise it or whatever it is that they value in it. It's great. Whatever they hate or dislike or like, it's funny as fuck. Do it.
Here's
Keep
the thing,
doing it.
It doesn't bother most people because we're not whiny little bitches.
Exactly.
We've actually got, proper problems to deal with. Not, oh no, some person's dancing in front of a flag. That offends me.
No, that's
really?
You know what? Nobody makes fun of a culture better than the people that live in it. And that's why it's like, of course I like to see that. But I also like to see other people from other places talk about America in a way that I don't have that perception, where they look at New York City and they compare it to wherever they're from. And you're going to get a completely different perspective from somebody from Colombia than you are from Tokyo, Japan. And it's interesting to hear how people reflect on it. How could it be better? How could it be worse? Because getting new perspective, getting perspective from other places is valuable.
You can't
That's
fucking
the value
tell me
of diversity.
that Bandit Keith isn't the most accurate representation of America.
all of the world is America. Get off my property.
Bandit Keith is the most American character in anything ever.
Everything I do is American because I'm American.
Cultural appropriation. Americans are so used to being the dominant producers of media that we aren't accustomed to seeing what it's like to be portrayed by a culture that does not care if their product sells in American markets.
That's not true at all.
So?
That's not true at all. That's our entire world music industry is based on listening to other cultures' music. It's a huge deal. Our entire cuisine industry is based on fusions and contributions from other perspectives. America, we can't stop talking about how great we are because we're just so much like the world.
Well, it's the same idea with Japan. Like they are, I would say they probably overtake not America for appropriating other ideas, but they turn it into an art form, but they still sell to their local people because that's where the money is. They can't just start selling overseas all the time. So whiskey, they send a guy out to Scotland to learn about it, came back, invented pretty much Scottish Japanese whiskey. No one liked it because it wasn't for the palate, so they have to change it for the Japanese palate. But this guy's like, no. Scottish whiskey is the best in the world. We're making that. So he had to start up his own distillery, and now they have this fantastic style of whiskey just for Japan. Just the same with everything. Cars, electronics. Like, it's amazing. We need to do this.
I love how Mark in 3D brings up the Rammstein or whatever song. We are living in America. It's wunderbar. I love it. That song is fucking great because that gives you that perspective. You're like, yeah, you're right. America has not, even if we're not imperialist in a form of militarism or corporatism, we're still imperialist in pride, in the form of, oh, America's so great, model America. America's better than everyone. The best place in the world, live in America. Yeah. That is the problem. That's the thing that I think other cultures are upset about, and that's why I think Rammstein, I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm not German. I don't want to culturally appropriate German.
You can be proud to live in America. It's just the fact that the people who are upset that people are proud of America is because they're like, why aren't people proud of the Soviet Union? Why aren't people proud of communist nations? It's like, well, yeah, that's because we usually die there. But
But I also encourage cultures making their own stuff and not being dependent on like international culture. And I feel like American export culture is not the optimum solution for a lot of places, but that also applies to like Chinese propaganda and production. You know what I mean? Like every culture should be valued for its distinct contribution, and it's the ignorant people that are just not interested, and you can't force them. I can't force people to watch Danish films, even though I love them. All I can do is talk to other people that like them. It's easy. It's just, I don't bitch about it like Lindsay Ellis. I'm not bitching that people don't watch obscure anime. You know what I mean? It's stupid. Just show people that are interested.
Yeah.
I want to watch this Bollywood film. I think a lot of people in chat now are like curious because it's like, oh yeah, what would a Bollywood take on America be like?
Oh, cool. Let's have a fucking movie watching session where we watch this Bollywood film.
That's the best thing that's come out of this video so far.
Yeah. Wow, great movie recommendation. Cool.
Thanks, Lindsay Ellis. Yeah, I want to see this American stereotype made by Indians. That sounds like the funnest shit in the world.
Like it's like the idea that this is supposed to. Oh, you're uncomfortable now, right? And it's like no.
No, it sounds awesome.
It's like, no. What?
The cultural appropriation is, in theory, a neutral term leads to a lot of false equivalencies.
What is Selena Gomez appropriating there? What the fuck?
Mirrors.
What does that have to do with shit?
This is okay. If this is a term, if this is a term that's inoffensive and doesn't mean anything, and all it means is people are inspired by other things, then why are you relating it to the category of culture? Why are you even going that way if it has no ultimate meaning? All you're saying is people live their lives and learn stuff from other people, and other people come from other parts of the world, and they speak different languages, they eat different foods, yada yada yada. Down we go.
Oh my God! Are you saying there's people in different countries that are not just a figment of my imagination?
This is
everywhere's America.
All she did was neuter the term, and now she's just explaining the term without any teeth. It has no meaning now because all you're saying is people learn stuff and make stuff from the things they learn.
She's trying to explain this while Indian people are jumping up and down across the screen.
Like remember that stupid parody, a parody pretty much of anything, like the Italian Spider-Man stupid parody on YouTube. Italian Spider-Man, like this stupid B movies from the 70s or whatever. It's like that's all it is. Just some guy who's Italian
Star Wars
looked at Marvel and went, I can do that, and they had a fun little romp, and that was that.
Yeah.
Turkey,
what is it? Indian thriller.
Indian Spider-Man. Yeah, there's all kinds.
Golima.
Turkish Spider-Man. Yeah, the Turks. Yeah, because you had Turkish Spider-Man and also Turkish Star Wars, which was insane.
I like to use this example because unless you're super into anime, most Americans haven't experienced media that has American culture on the other end of cultural appropriation. Americans are so used to being the dominant producers of media that we aren't accustomed to seeing what it's like to be portrayed by a culture that does not care if their product sells in American markets. The fact that cultural appropriation
so it's cultural appropriation because they're doing this like vaguely Indian thing, I guess.
In theory, a neutral term leads to a lot of false equivalencies, i.e., why is this form of cultural appropriation okay, but Gwen Stefani dressing as a sexy warrior is not okay?
It's all okay.
Well,
it's neutral.
Okay.
It's
neutral. It's all okay.
It's not
neutral. The answer is you don't like the fact that Gwen Stefani is sexy in it. If Gwen Stefani weighed like 7,000 stones and was like as big as a pickup truck.
This is okay.
Then yeah, sure, that'd be fine for you.
Remember, if you guys ever go to tvtropes.org, they say most tropes are neutral, meaning they're just to explain a pattern of a storytelling element or a concept or whatever. It's like, yeah, of course. Now, some tropes aren't. Some of them are inherently negative, like Deus Ex Machinas or the Mary Sue or whatever. Like they're inherently a certain way, and why they're negative or positive or whatever is up to debate, but we understand them. This is just people making stuff. That's it. They are inspired by their teachers and other art forms like any other artist would be, any other engineer, any other technician making or fixing something. That's all it is. It's like, I want to make pot roast. I've never done that before. What do? I buy a pot, buy some roast, I cook it, I make a mess. Or I follow a recipe from England or something. There's a thank you, Julia Child. I'll do that next. So this is basic stuff. Whether your mom teaches you and she's Indian or Italian, and you grow up in a French household, makes little difference.
It really doesn't.
It just
I would
seems a really weird point. No, go on, Glib.
I was just going to say that I think it's all positive. All the examples that they've shown have just been, here's a representation of this culture. It's just surrounding our star, because that's what the song is. Yeah. The song is surrounding, like this is from Lean On with Major Lazer, Diplo, and whatever. It's like Diplo's whole thing is going around the world and taking different world culture audio sounds and then translating it into this sort of EDM format. So that's what they were doing here. And she sings the song, and then they have all of these elements that are around it that are visual representations of the culture that they're influenced by. And so they actually went to the culture and filmed the video there, and then they did the whole thing. It's like, what's the problem with that? I don't understand. They are patronizing the Indian film industry and showing off a piece of culture that could, be seen as advertisement to hundreds of millions of different people. Or, you know what I mean? What's the problem with any of this? This is a good thing. This is a net good for the world, because now we're embracing cultures and mixing them together in the forms of music. That's what people want. People enjoy that fusion. That's the reason why they eat fusion food. That's the reason why new things developed. I mean, is she saying that the Vietnamese cuisine can't make banh mi sandwiches because it's appropriating French culture? That's stupid. That makes it, we have better quality things because we adopt each other's best ideas. That's how evolution works. I don't understand why you'd want to hang on to that old idea of segregation. The opposite of cultural appropriation is cultural segregation. That's what she wants.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember
It's a complex.
A music video by CCR. It's called Fortunate Son. It was posted a few years ago. And in it, the whole music video is just a bunch of random people in America, and they're dancing and they're singing and they're living their life. That's the whole music video. It's people of all walks of life. That's America. That's a good thing. There's nothing inherently good or bad about that. That's just what it is. Now, I think it's a good thing because it's a catchy tune and there's a lot of people having fun. It's a beautiful song and it's classic. But I'm sure those people come from different parts of the world. Did they appropriate their heritage? Or did they bring their culture with them? And that's what we have. That's what America is now. It's a melting pot. It's a quilt. It's whatever you want to call it. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So I don't see this. We now have a bunch of people from America or wherever taking art from other parts of the world and making more art with it. I don't see the negative. It's the same with like food. It's like, I know the traditional way how to make spaghetti carbonara. There's one recipe, and you do little variations on the ham product and the cheese. Fine, whatever. But you want to add potatoes? Go add potatoes. I don't care. It's no longer carbonara. But maybe that's your taste. Maybe you can find a market for that. Maybe you can sell spaghetti carbonara with potatoes. And that's a good thing. The Italians would freak out, but that's okay.
What with pizza?
Yeah, exactly.
Sexy warrior is not okay. It's a complex issue, and there is a lot of intersection over race and class and gender. But here,
I know. So she's pulling a Tim Pool. It's complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah. Oh my.
I can't explain it. It's complicated.
Life is complex.
So much race and sex. I can't. I'd be here for hours.
No, how about Lindsay? How about I just get a fucking cushion so you can sit on that fence a bit more? Just don't worry about it.
Is a general rule of thumb. If it is a culture that was historically exploited by colonial,
No, America bad.
No,
love it, love it.
Where's my bingo card?
Bingo.
Originally it was colonialism bad. Now it's America bad. Oh.
As long as Indians were oppressed, they would play the Bollywood.
Yeah, but also, Americans have repressed India, so.
When was that?
When
when did Indians and Americans oppress each other? What is America?
Yeah, I know exactly when.
It was ambient, sort of.
Oh,
Lindsay, those are the wrong Indians.
Energy.
Lindsay,
those Indians come from a different place.
It was ambient.
Yeah. Also,
energy.
Lindsay, you talk about the wrong white people. You're getting the wrong white. people.
No. It's all.
You meant the English. You meant the English, not the Americans.
It's complicated.
It's all white people. So
There's-
they
there's-
all get the info.
All white people are the
Any
same.
white person
Oh,
All
no.
white people
That's-
are the same.
That's the answer to all these arguments. It's either that's a social construct or no, it's complicated.
Hashtag not all white people, except
You're
for
a
America.
white male.
Appropriating a historically colonizing culture, no harm, no.
As if the oh my god, dude. As if the Indians
Fuck
never
off.
colonized any culture. You gotta be
Fuck
fucking
off.
stupid. You don't know
You've
anything
got-
about Lindsay. You don't know anything about the history of
It
the
was
region.
an
dude.
empire before.
the
Holy
Maratha
shit.
Confederacy, the Mughal Empire. You know all those fucking. The fucking
what about
Indians were
the
fighting
the
Alexander
display-
the Great?
Does she know
For
anything about
fuck's
the history
sake.
of Sri Lanka, or
Yeah.
Bangladesh, or fucking Pakistan, or
Yeah. You can't. Fuck's sake! This is just fucking. This is embarrassingly
the
bad.
Gupta Empire never did nothing wrong.
Foul. No one gets mad at Mexico for appropriating elements of German culture.
What? What is that? What do you mean? What are you fucking talking about, dude?
Probably because they haven't
about?
seen it. I don't imagine.
What?
Why would we get mad at them?
I don't imagine a lot of Germans have seen a lot of Mexican media.
Hey man, you got the Frankfurter? Got some Steiners?
ASA, you got the.
Amigo, you wanna gas some Jews? Arriba, arriba, andale,
Frankfurters.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
In Mexico, we always think of the final solution. Hey, Speedy Gonzalez.
As if
this?
Mexican culture isn't the result of fucking obliteration of the previous culture.
Yeah,
Does she
also,
not know anything about Spanish
also,
conquest history?
yeah, Spanish. Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Mexican culture. Mexican culture is a
culture-
cultural appropriation of fucking the Yucatan,
Yeah, they got-
the Mayas, the
yeah, and
Chiapas.
the
what the fuck are you
Aztecs.
talking about? Lindsay.
You know, the fuck is all this?
¿Por qué, Lindsay? ¿Por qué?
The Mexicans.
Jesus Christ.
Now,
love
now I
this
want to
stuff.
know what the Mexicans stole from Germany.
Tyler McDonald
Yeah,
says
so do
taco
I.
stand.
Unless you happen to live in LA and that's all that's on the radio.
Wow.
German Mexican music?
She's saying
German
that the
Mexican
music.
Huh?
Yeah, she's talking about the like
Mexican.
the mariachi stuff.
Use a tuba.
It's
What?
ridiculous.
A,
I can't believe
a Mexican
I can't believe
person
she's
was
even
using a
talking about
tuba, so that means it's cultural appropriation of Germany.
that. So
because
it's
tubas are
okay.
German.
It's okay if a Mexican dude plays trumpet, but if an American dude plays some sort of Mexican drum, then suddenly it's not a, like. What are these rules? Is this like the union?
Wait,
rule?
so an American can't play guitar because it could have been Spanish. So like
No. Jimi Hendrix can't play an electrical guitar because Les Paul invented the electrical guitar. But Les Paul can't play the guitar because the guitar was originally invented as the sitar in India. But the Indians can't use it because the oldest one was invented in.
Oh wow,
my head.
Jimi Hendrix being successful with All Along the Watchtower. Typical black guy covering a white guy's song and being more successful. Typical.
Typical.
Typical?
What?
Typical appropriation.
Rolling Stones are just
God.
going to exist. The Rolling Stones are playing black music. Blues are black people
Wow.
music.
Wow.
New jobs. There's the Japanese hip hop shit from Samurai Champloo. Illegal. That's appropriation of black culture. Okay, Wu-Tang Clan. It's okay though because black people were oppressed. They can appropriate Chinese culture. What?
Yeah, Elvis.
How does that work?
Elvis Presley took black culture. The White Album from the Beatles took Indian inspiration. Like, oh my God, how far do we go?
As long if you're a part of an oppressive culture, then you deserve to be oppressed. That's what she's saying. It's Vengeance Day.
Yeah, No, it's Vengeance Day against us, but Lindsay's fine because I care about the poor.
She's like, it's okay because I studied
Yeah,
Irish. What do you mean you studied Irish? I bloody studied Irish. I did.
Oh, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you, it's me, Jacksepticeye!
Oh, it's Lindsay Ellis here, and I'm talking to you from the top of my potacle.
Oh, Miss Stutters and Garters, it's me, Lindsay Ellis, here to talk to you about the four-leaf clovers.
See, you're a racist now, Father.
Yeah. Also, you're a racist now, Father.
You're a racist now, Father.
Everybody needs someone to lead on. By the way, look at how diverse this group is. They're all in India, right? They're like just like traveling the world. You got a bunch of mixed race people, a European chick, and they're all dancing on top of an Indian thing. This is not appropriate. This is against the rules. You can't be doing this. You can't be having fun.
This is all wrong.
You're appropriating culture.
Colonialist culture appropriating a culture that was exploited by colonialism, then people start to get a little cranky. Obviously, there are intersections and complexities.
This is culture. Her wearing this fucking dumbass primitive like year zero outfit with the flowers in her hair.
Just flowers, bro. It's literally just flowers. What is
you're appropriating Neanderthal culture, okay?
You're appropriating plant culture.
You're appropriating hippie culture.
How do you think the plants are? She's appropriating poison ivy.
Appropriating a culture that was exploited by colonialism, then people start to get a little cranky. Obviously, there are intersections and complexities, but for simplicity's sake,
it's complicated. It's complicated, guys. I'm Lindsay Poole. It's complicated.
Flowers are complicated.
Yeah. Wearing grass skirts is really
every time she says it's complicated, it's like a complexities or intersections. Just that's her admitting she doesn't have an answer. She just doesn't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know.
Appropriating a culture that was exploited by colonialism, then people start to get a little cranky. Obviously, there are intersections and complexities, but for simplicity's sake, I'll leave it there for now. But I think most people would agree that, unlike something like Pocahontas or even Slumdog Millionaire, a movie which pretty much every...
Oh my god.
Why you got Slumdog Millionaire? No, fuck, no. Keep playing.
Slumdog Millionaire, a movie, but it terminated.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
A bunch of Indian people doing dance is very fun.
Is not a fan of. This kind of cultural appropriation is basically harmless.
So that's why.
What?
So it's all fine. It's all harmless. It's
Wait,
all fine.
No. She's saying Pocahontas and Slumdog Millionaire is harmful, and as opposed to this.
Oh my god, is that really what she's saying?
Yeah. She's saying
Holy
this
shit.
is harmless, but the other ones aren't. She's saying like everyone agreed this is harmless.
But what's the difference? It's literally. I just watched 2 movies with Indian people jumping across the screen. I've seen no difference.
You know what the difference is? The difference is that white people or something are profiting off of it somehow.
Yeah, but white people profit from both of these movies.
No, you're not allowed to. It's only oppressed people can profit from cultural appropriation.
But I don't.
No, it's capitalism.
Oh my god!
Everybody on the floor now.
This is what I mean by cultural appropriation being a neutral term. Not all cultural appropriation.
No. It's neutral because you just go.
No.
Well, what I think is bad is bad. Well, that's not neutral then, is it? You fucking mongoloid. What are you? Honestly.
Watch what she's gonna say next.
Not all Scotsmen. Here we go.
I think the real question people want.
Wait.
This is what I mean by cultural appropriation being a neutral term. Not all cultural appropriation is created equal. So I think the real question people want the answer to is where the line is between positive examples of representation and harmful cultural appropriation. And that's the problem. There isn't really a line.
Wait, what?
There you go. It's just whatever.
What?
It's just whatever.
So it's whatever you say suits your fucking.
Okay, wait. If it's
look at that face. Look at how uncertain that face is about the conclusion of saying absolutely nothing.
If there is no line, there is no. If there is no line, there is no neutrality. You can't have neutral. If something is neutral, that implies there's something negative and positive. If it's neutral, what I'm trying to say. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, say it again.
Okay. If she's saying there is no line, then you can't have a neutral area because neutral implies something on another side and something on the other side. So if that's the case, it's not neutral. It's just a thing. It's a pattern. It's something you observed. People learn stuff and do stuff with that learning. Does she? I don't even.
This is halfway through the video.
she's literally just said, "There is no line until I draw a line."
So,
for what suits.
Yeah, like this is what happens.
Point in time. It's like right, okay, then.
This is
that
her.
means it's anything.
This is her logical brain fighting her ideology because she believes in all this shit, and she's been fed it all this time. And she's going, wait a second, let me think about this idea of people using this and that. And it's complicated. It's like, yeah, no shit, it's complicated. It's called individuals doing their own thing and making stuff with it. And some of them are assholes, and some of them are good, and some of them are great artists, and some of them aren't. And you realize, oh, wait, this ideology doesn't fit. But I'm still going to use this ideological term I've been taught because I can understand it, but I can't apply it to reality. And you sit there going, maybe the term doesn't exist. Because you can't apply it to reality.
Because it doesn't make sense.
She's literally just admitted that everything that she says is just bullshit she makes up on the spot.
Yeah.
So
whatever she feels, man.
She's trying to toe
whatever
the
she
party
feels
line
at that moment in time.
and she's using her intelligence, and her brain is going, wait, you can't do it that way. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Try again.
Yeah.
Try again. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it's neutral. It's neutral. Wait, no, it's not neutral. Wait a second. If it's not neutral, that means there's no boundary.
I will tell you something. That face she's pulling right there says a massive story. It really does. Glib was right. That's a face of someone going.
That's the entire.
I hope they don't realize I'm just talking bullshit.
That's the entire ideology.
What am I saying? Don't worry, Lindsay. We do.
It's just like, what the fuck did I just say? Like it's like the words are coming out, and she's like listening to as it comes out, and she's like, I didn't know I was gonna say that. Like she didn't even know what she's gonna say, and then she says it, and we're like, okay, I guess I'm recording. I guess that'll go in the video. I guess. I don't know.
Throw that in halfway through the video. Ready? I want to see more of this. Here we go. This is gonna be okay. It's because it's Moana.
So you can have a movie like Moana, which had a much higher proportion of Pacific Islanders.
Oh, so if you have a certain amount of brown people, then it's okay.
Yeah, okay, then cool, good.
Working behind and in the cast than American natives did.
Oh, it's Brown Rock! It's the Rock! He's brown!
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
But the film still reads as appropriative to some because the story is still cookie-cutter Disney. What is wrong?
So it's because if it's Disney, then it's cookie-cutter bad, and it's appropriating culture because it's Disney.
So that means that your rule of if you have got a certain number of brown minority poor people, and everything like that.
No, they can be rich. They can be super rich or poor.
No. All brown people are poor in the.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. Even the rich people that because they'll never be white, so they're automatically poor.
Yeah.
Got it. That's very
poor,
smart.
yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
So what she's saying is, I don't like Moana because I just don't like it. So here's a bullshit excuse for me not liking this movie.
Yeah, it's because it's Disney. Because it's got all the cookie cutter. Instead, it should be something else. But I don't know what that is. Let's find out.
Yeah.
And the department heads were overwhelmingly old white.
Look, he's got a It's Hitler. It's literally Hitler.
Holy shit!
Because they're white. It's bad.
So anyway, white girl, tell us how we can
fucking
solve this
white
problem.
people.
Yeah.
I want other people that are my
how.
race to lose their job, but I want to keep my job. Wah.
Fucking.
It's very mature, very professional.
Men, as long as you have a multinational corporation appropriating some element of another culture to sell stuff, no matter how respectful or well-researched, there is always going to be some level of appropriation.
As long as you profit off of a culture that isn't yours explicitly, then it's appropriation.
Guess I don't care about cultural appropriation.
No matter how much you research it or anything, what the fuck? So what can you? Just stop making those movies then. You know what? Fine. Yes. I agree. No more black or brown people in films from now on. Only white people.
And no
Lindsay,
more Disney
I
movies.
100% agree with you.
No more Disney movies that are about diverse.
Actually, you know what? Actually, how about this? How about no more movies? How about no more movies?
No more entertainment ever.
Perfect.
No more entertainment. Why don't we all just march into the gulags and kill ourselves there?
That's what they want.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because
Nice.
any like, if you have a story that has like a moral, that moral can itself be cultural to some extent.
Well, how white is the
moral?
moral?
Well, you see,
how
norm, that moral is that's a very white moral. That
yes, was it was it a pale face idea or was it a dark face idea?
So even if there's even if it's like fucking, it's fucking genderless, raceless like blobs. It can still they can still be like you're appropriating something. They'll find
that Disney that Disney movie had 100% black cast, but because it's Disney and they're selling something, which is the point of Disney, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's cultural appropriation, which is a neutral term, but it can be bad. You like that? You like that?
Yeah,
So, with regard to the lesson Disney took from the backlash against
Pocahontas, we got about
you
that.
would think that the lesson Disney would have taken with regard to depicting indigenous peoples is don't.
There you go. You guys got it. She's saying don't do it. Don't make movies about other people.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Genius.
That's
just make movies about white people. Good. That's great.
I
Thank
think,
you,
I think
Hitler.
the next Disney movie should be an animated film about the KKK.
Thank you, Hitler. No, you're Hitler.
We'll call it
Hitler.
a remake of Birth of a Nation. How about that? I think that should be done.
Fucking
brown
C-section of an issue.
If you're Disney, stick to the whites. Stick to your own race, Disney.
But we've had 4 more Disney features with indigenous protagonists since Pocahontas.
God, why do we have just so many? Like, why don't you just make it about the white man?
White people.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Disney? Stop making these things about these
Lilo and Stitch has got fucking aliens in it. I don't give a shit about
so stupid.
What.
That's
I also
dumb.
fucking indigenous is
Four-armed
sort of
alien.
used as opposed to white.
How did she get all the way
like
over
as
there?
if white people in Europe aren't indigenous, you know, as if they're not indigenous peoples.
They're not. They're not.
No, only
all
brown
white
people are indigenous.
All white people are
Where-
Americans and colonizers. They don't actually come from anywhere.
Yeah. We just popped into existence in 1492. And
Exactly. Just came over the horizon. White man, come over the horizon, steal my land, make Disney film about me.
Hello, sir. We have come to be racist.
White man, put me in casino, make Disney movie.
Hello there, chaps. We've come to rape and pillage you. Now bend over and take the poker.
Ah, brilliant. I love this version of reality. Let's keep doing this. Also, Disney, no more non-whites. Excellent, Lindsay. Great.
Let's not make movies about those pathetic black people and those poor browns. Just the white people. That's what the kiddos want to see with their Doc Martens and their Dr. Pepper Airbuds.
Bit odd blokes, really. Bit of an odd bloke. That one. That brown fellow is a bit of an odd bloke, really.
Yeah, funny looking black people. They just look.
Bit of an odd looking.
Well, I say.
This is the most racist progressive thing I've ever seen.
Pocahontas, 2 of which involved said protagonists turning into large mammals in order to learn a lesson.
Oh yeah, let's see. Why did they do that? Why was that? What is it that the Cusco story is precipitated on?
This is the whole
where do you
like
think that came from.
This is such a stupid
this
argument.
Is the whole, like, you see, they turned them into animals because they didn't want to have them actually be brown the whole movie. They didn't want to have them be brown people for the whole movie, and they just hate brown people so much that they made them into animals because they'd rather have animals because white people can relate more to animals than brown people.
I just love the fact that when people say that, it's like, okay, they hate brown people, right? So why did they go to the effort of making the character brown in the first place? They could just
wait. Not even that. The indigenous culture of the Incans actually has stories that involve people turning into animals. So why is she saying she doesn't know the stuff that she's talking about again? Yeah, like you don't know why they did that. It's because that's the culture that's being represented. You fucking precise, prestigious individual, Miss Ellis. You scholar of Irish.
I use the word disingenuous Irish studier, but
she's she's got a doctorate in Irish.
Doctorate in Irish. What the fuck?
People in Ireland don't even have doctorates in Irish.
It's in Irish, yeah. So how did you pass your Irish?
The people from the Quechua
test. Well, I drank some Guinness and I shot a potato up my nostrils.
And it is Irish. It's not Gaelic. When people say like, "Oh, don't you mean Gaelic?" Like, no, I mean Irish. People in Ireland say Irish. They don't say Gaelic.
Yeah.
You know what? After this, I'm gonna have a cup of tea and a bottle of Redbreast 12, just to polish off the evening, just to admire the Irish.
You can't have tea. You can't have tea. You're not Chinese. So, sorry. Culture appropriation. So.
Your culture is imperialism, so it's fine.
What if my
he can't stop you exercising your culture?
What if my brother's Chinese wife gives me the tea? Can I drink it then?
Yes.
Is it red
I
rose?
thought you were going to say like
it's red rose. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I thought you were going to say like, what was if I find out that 600 years ago there was a Chinese smud boy?
It's just funny because again, brother bear is an Inuit thing because there's the bear spirit, and it's all related to Inuit stuff. So it's This is just dumb. It's just you're ignorant of the cultures that these things are being based on. People making the movies know more about the subject.
Why?
Than it's sick.
Because all she knows about Indians or Native Americans is fucking throwing spears at John Wayne, and that's literally
that's true.
Oh, peace pipe and like.
Give me firewater. I build casino.
What? Yeah. Bill Casino. She watched that episode of The Simpsons once, and that was about it. That's her knowledge of Native American history.
Llama face. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just saying it happened.
Because is it complicated?
Twice.
This is not a bad thing. Fuck
like
you.
Suck
a dick.
First was the Emperor's.
No, the indigenous fucking Scottish character in fucking Brave getting turned into a bear.
Yeah, that gets bear.
Oh, wow,
we just hate fucking gingers. That's why.
It's also funny because the llama is a symbol of royalty, and Cusco is the name of the city in Peru that used to be the ancient
Like trying
city,
to
so
make this a fucking race thing is retarded.
Stop trying to pretend that tributes for things that are being shown off because people have invested a great amount of their life and time into a piece of artistic work about it are bad things.
Yeah, but like
these are all good things.
getting turned into an animal is just a common trope, especially in animation and children's stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's not a racial thing. Like it happens in fucking Brave. Do you remember that film fucking Help I'm a Fish? Remember that fucking movie?
Yeah.
Like it's just a common thing, and it's not racial at all.
I would argue that with and without
as well.
with and without the transformation, animal spirits in animation are super common.
Sure.
And just animals in animation are just huge. Like you can go anywhere. You can go to the anime of Princess Mononoke. You can go all the way to Lion King. It's like Lion King is like the same thing as Tarzan. You know.
In that movie, for no reason whatsoever, he gets into a squirrel. So okay, it's like fine. Kids like cute animals.
Wow. So bad.
Emperor's New Groove, which was in
development
and
you'd know about
years
it
and was originally a large, very important, portentous musical in the vein of Pocahontas called Kingdom of the
probably
Sun.
would have been shit.
But then that vision got scrapped. Most of the creative team got replaced, and the film turned into a buddy comedy with barely a veneer of the original setting.
What's wrong with that? Is that a problem?
It's a good movie. What do you want from me, dude?
It's like how many movies have there been that have gotten better because they switched out shit? Like I just think about the Blade Runner final cut over the theatrical ones. Like I'm glad that the Hampton Fancher movie didn't get made. I'm glad that
look at
shitty
the
scripts don't get
it's
made.
so much better than Justice League.
Oh yeah.
Tapped on top.
Chef.
People really like this aspect of the movie.
Funny. It's a funny fucking movie.
The Emperor's New Groove.
This is what people remember about the movie is the humor. They don't remember all the other shit.
It's so fucking memorable.
Pull the lever.
Also, they're talking about ancient Inca things. They're dressed as fucking scouts. This is not a historical recreation of 5th century Inca thing. So, Lindsay, shut the fuck up! This means nothing! What the fuck? Why are you taking history? Yeah, because why are you taking history from fucking Disney films?
Because she's a moron, dude.
Hey, by the way, here's the thing. Robin Hood wasn't actually a fox.
Also.
Right, I'm just going to say...
The other... It's not just Cusco. You know? There's two main characters, and one of them doesn't turn into a fucking llama.
He doesn't.
Yeah, and is just as much a main character. So
the Emperor's New Groove. It's the Emperor's New Groove, like the Emperor's new clothes, and the lesson he learns is to be humble.
Yeah.
Wow. What's wrong with that?
What's his name? Who's the other character? What's the other main character called? It's Cusco and I can't remember his name.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, but is he not allowed? Is that not showing Inca people? Does he have like less Inca blood?
He's the secondary protagonist.
Reasons.
Pacha.
Yeah, Patch. Yeah. So Patch has got like less Inca blood in him than Cusco, so he doesn't count because he's not an expert on Incan stuff.
Theme song guy.
The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, and she probably thinks it's fucking bad that Patrick Warburton voiced fucking Kronk because he's not fucking Incan.
Just a heads up, that guy had a microphone in his hand as well.
It's very realistic.
Oh yeah,
last time, it's complete. Yeah, last time I checked, the Incas didn't invent electricity with microphones. But anyway,
yeah, it's like she's watching fucking the Flintstones and she's pointing out all the historical inaccuracies. It's like, no, nobody does that. That's not the point. It's just it's a set piece for you to have visual gags. That's what the Flintstones and the Jetsons is. It's not about this. It's about it's a family comedy at its core. It's not about the fucking setting. And all these things, it's exactly the same thing. They want to do something different visually. They want to engage it with a different. They want to praise a different background. They want to show off a different history set, a different language, whatever. But it's all really about slight variations of the same kinds of stories that they want to teach people and spread good cheer. That's the whole point of Disney, is that at the end of it you got a happy ending. And we haven't had like sad ending Disney movies since like Bambi.
It's so like fucking funny is that people who call themselves like sort of traditionalists or perennialists, right? So hyper traditional people, really, really like right wing in like the old sense, in like the and like the sort of post French Revolution sense. See like the idea that there's things that are true to like multiple cultures, like inherent deep truths that run through every culture, you know. And so that's like as a sense like, well, just tell a good story, you know. If you tell a good story, it will resonate with everyone.
You can't tell a good story if you're trying to make a political.
But these people are like, no, it's all like particular, and it's all specific to every individual culture. Has to have their own specifically made like entertainment.
It's ridiculous.
Even if they do make a movie which is everything they want, Lindsay will find some problem. There might be the guy who got the coffees in the morning was white, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
So it's like okay.
Yeah. That's true. But in Emperor's New Groove, like the thing, it could be in any setting. Like the setting is just window dressing. It could be like any setting or anywhere on the planet or any time in history,
place in the British Empire and
exactly. Just it could be some fucking baron of some like estate.
It could be post-apocalyptic, and it could just be like tribes.
Exactly. It could be literally anywhere because it's literally just the idea of like the moral of the story is so like you can have those same ideas of those character archetypes and the same character arc and the same lesson in just anywhere, you know. So it's and that's a good thing, you know, the sort of universal message.
So we're gonna do this for another minute or so. I don't know if you guys how long you want to go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
we could just like get to
her point.
20.
Yeah,
but we could probably let's just try and get to the end of this segment and see how we're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
No relation to it takes place in, other than llama being the one domesticated animal down there, and sometimes the topography. The Emperor's New Groove is so thoroughly divorced from the culture it takes place in that the appropriation discussion rarely even pops up in relation to this movie. Brother Bear, the other movie where the arrogant protagonist gets turned into a large mammal to learn a lesson, has more to do with the culture it is appropriating than either Emperor's New Groove or even Pocahontas for that matter, taking the concept of spirit animal to a very literalness.
Yes,
But the thing that fascinates me about Brother Bear in this context is less how it appropriates culture in its story, with the idea of the spirit animal turning Joaquin Phoenix into a literal animal, but with the way it mixes native language with a European style of music.
Oh, so now the music has to be fucking native sounding.
She is so
God.
Okay, this is what happens when you're not throwing away your categories when you understand things for the first time or you're trying to make a box. She's told us the box doesn't exist. The boundaries of the box don't exist. I'm still going to use the box though. But now I'm going to talk about the minutia of how the box was broken. And see that? The music over there is European, but it's different than the other side of the box, which is not European. You're like, okay.
But there's no line.
There's no connection, Lindsay. You just told us there wasn't.
There's no line, so whatever she says is bullshit after that point, because it's like, oh.
She literally just said, "I'm just making stuff up now because I've just told you there is no line." Okay, so you're now just making bullshit up now at this point. Yeah.
Demonic Beast Megatron 94 says, "So what? They did the same thing to Milan and Hercules." Great point, brother. Absolutely.
So I don't know if you want to keep going listening to her talk about what she thinks cultural appropriation is, because it's a useless term, but it's like...
Yeah, I also, this is supposed to be about Pocahontas, and like I've forgotten what her points about Pocahontas were, because she's just talked about everything else other than Pocahontas.
Disney is bad.
Still saying barrage them with bullshit. If you can't convince them with logic.
Disney bad.
Yeah, Disney bad.
Well, whatever you guys feel like doing, Smut, it's up to you. It's your thing.
I think we should call it. If you guys want to do the next part, if you're really up to it, it's up to you. We could do it tomorrow too as well. But I'll have to ask the mods to see what else we have on the voting. But if you guys are up for it tomorrow, we can totally do it.
Yeah,
so, we'll find out.
It's fine. I'm enjoying talking to you guys about how wrong she is, because it's just, but it's just people pay this woman to like speak this bullshit, and it's like, okay.
This is nothing. This is nothing more
about anything.
She is nothing more than a more rational mind with the ideology, which she's trying to rationalize to the audience. The audience is going, "Oh yeah, I never thought about it that way," without understanding that the terms she's using are ineffective.
No, but the thing is, I wouldn't say she's more rational. It's more the fact that sometimes it comes through that she realizes she is literally talking bullshit, but she still plows through anyway. And it's like, no, you know you're talking shit now, just stop. It's like, there must be something under there, because literally that face she pulled after she said there was no line. It's like, yeah, that is the face of somebody who knows that every word she has said in this entire video is bullshit.
Yeah, like she's lost track of what she's saying.
Yeah, okay,
like,
so come 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, I'll ask you guys again if you want to do a new video or the old one. And we're at 18:30. So
sorry, Vlad.
Okay, so I'm gonna
30, good year.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some super chats. We're gonna call it a night. Thanks, guys. That was great. Jake the Surgeon. This is from.
That was great. That was terrible. That was great.
It was a horrible video, but it was fun.
It was awful, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is disgusting. More, please. Yeah. Jake the Surgeon drove them off their land. It's only okay if other Native Americans do it. Yeah, I know. Mike Testa. Is it not savage for tribes to kill each other? War is war. That's how it goes. Doesn't matter who does it.
I know shit.
Here's Ram Jamaram. Nani? Yeah, thank you. We were all at that moment.
Nani?
Alex Halo. The SJW are trying to oppress Japanese right now. Good luck with that. Sure. That's not going to happen. Japanese don't give a crap.
And God bless them. Hopefully.
Actually, yeah. George Kells actually makes a good point. Lindsay Ellis, I studied Irish, so it's okay. Also, Ellis, no matter how well researched, it's like, yeah, okay.
yeah. She's not. She was saying that like Americans are like obsessed with blood quantity or whatever, and then she's also complaining about how she's also making this statement that I studied Irish, and then but the white people, right? These white people who studied what they're making can't make it because they're too white. But it's fine that she's not Irish at all. Maybe she is somehow.
Bigora, 'tis another potato famine.
Researched it.
What?
She's definitely Irish because she researched Irishland.
She liked the ring. She bought the ring. If she doesn't have a best friend, or if the second ring is like lying around in a closet somewhere, I feel really sorry for her. But they're bought in a pair.
She gets everything she deserves.
I dated an Irish girl, so she told me these stupid things. Okay.
Oh, was she really Irish, or was she just Lindsay Ellis Irish?
Yeah, but
did she just study it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Or did she study it, or were you studying
Irish degree?
I hope to God no. But wait.
I studied my Irish degree at the bar.
Yeah,
doctorate.
All the taps. Tap number 1, tap number 2.
I went through all of it, including the bathroom.
I don't remember the last semester of Irish.
It's like that fucking meme where where it's like, oh, where did you study? At the library. He's got like a massive head. It's like that, but instead it's like a massive beer belly. Like it's like at the pub. It's like that's where I
have a blackout belt in Irish jiu-jitsu.
All right, here's John Doe, the average Joe. With all the media and music references in JoJo, the U.S. is appropriated by Japan by her logic. Were we colonized, disrespected, or oppressed? No, I think we welcomed our Japanese media overlords with relatively open arms, whether we knew they were here already at the first place 30 years before anime became popular. It's like, oh, yeah, Astro Boy. I remember that. Something.
Astro Boy's great.
Sure. Heck, sure, it's all Daijobu, so it is.
Keikakudoi. Okay. Joe Crazy. When I hear appropriation, I can't help but think of Bill Burr's Elvis bit. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's good.
Mike
Bill Burr,
Testa.
did you hear that Bill Burr has an African American sex slave? I think. Is that what
Is that what he calls Nina these days?
No, that's what somebody on Twitter called Nina.
Black wife.
She's like,
Black
just
wife,
because you're married to a black person, because you have a minority sex slave, doesn't mean that you are not racist. Something like that.
Oh my
It's
God.
so stupid.
Bunch of weirdos. Mike Testa. Well, in that case, I should slam a bottle on her. Oh my God.
Look, just because you suck black dick doesn't mean you're not racist against gay people. Okay.
You know it's funny because like a white nationalist wouldn't see that and go, "Wow, you just have a black sex slave." They go, their problem with it is that it's a marriage. You know that it.
The problem with it is that it's miscegenation.
So they
stupid.
still see it. They see it as a genuine marriage.
It's so
Whereas this
dumb.
is like that. They don't even see. They don't even think that he sees her as human because they can't conceive of someone disagreeing with their like overall worldview.
It's the best example of horseshoe theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Here's Mike Testa.
These people are fucking insane.
It's people like it's people like her. Why we segregated voice acting? Huh. I don't know. She's not that bad.
This is why the Cleveland show got canceled and stuff.
Oh, thank God. That show was terrible.
And the last one. Oh, sorry. I got two more. I got a donation I got to read as well. Joe Crazy. Is she saying no one in the history of ever came up with flower crowns other than the Polynesians? What?
Yes, probably something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
As if that was like meant to be anything. You know what I mean? That was just such a nondescript. Look, she's out in nature. Whoa. Elephant.
In that music video, she supposedly crash landed on the plane with like no clothes, so she has to make her own. But yeah, whatever.
She's appropriating survivor culture.
She should have just like died, and that'd be the proper thing to do.
That would have been the woke thing to do. Is just fucking die.
Yeah.
Fucking white oppressor colonizing this planet by crash landing on it.
I have to read a chat. I studied Irish under Professor Guinness. That's true. This is very
Studied
true.
Irish at the dojo.
Master McFlaherty, yeah.
Master O'Brien taught me the sword.
Here's Fritz Pillagine again. Thanks for the donation. Of course it's okay, Glib, because the greatest threat in America is the rise in casual racism and white supremacy. Oh.
Of course it is. How could anything else be a problem here? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that was the headache is kind of still there, but I think some tea and Irish whiskey will clear that right up. So
me too.
I think that was great.
Oh,
I know.
So you can drink your Irish whiskey, but I can do my Guinness.
You need to appropriate some cannabis culture.
You know, I'm all out of Guinness, and I have a lot of other beer. But
no!
I realized when I was doing that beer stream, the Guinness was the most popular beer I took photos of. And I know that's dumb coming from a guy taking pictures of beer cans, but it's like, you know what? That thing is damn delicious, and I love it. So.
Guinness is great. This stream is brought to you by Guinness.
I wish.
Yeah.
Guinness. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Fucking drink it.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Oh, 4.2.
Guinness.
Drink it or I'll beat you.
Guinness, just for the Irish.
Guinness, yeah. If you're not Guinness, drink it and you become Irish. Incoherent and
incoherent, drunk, and your family will probably starve of potato famine or something like that.
The taste of Ireland, potato famine.
That is what Guinness tastes like, to be fair. Potato famine. The potato famine.
Vlad Verified says, "Can you do Kermit and Obi-Wan discussing the racism of Pocahontas?" Like, I don't think I can do that. I think that might cause me a fatal error.
Yeah, you know,
You
Pocahontas
see the
is kind of
problem.
racist. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, like it's like a white guy
problem
fucking a
is
brown
that,
girl. Like, why couldn't it be the opposite?
Instead of
You know what I
humbling
mean?
herself.
Well, it's not the opposite because the women didn't come over in the ships, Kermit. What is wrong with you? Do you not understand that?
Yeah, but you know, it's like it's a Disney movie. It could be anything you want.
Well, then it can't be authentic. Can it? Will
You
it
don't
be
understand.
authentic?
Yeah, well, you know, like I mean, like I'm like a frog with a hand up its ass. Like realism to me doesn't really work.
I think that's enough of that.
All right, here's one more. Taker 610, watch Fatal Deviation, the Irish karate film. Are you serious?
The Irish karate film.
The Irish karate.
If we're gonna
film.
watch
Oh my
an
God.
Irish film, I want to watch The Young Offenders. I think that's the name of the film. Anybody ever heard of that? It's a couple of like teenage Irish chavs. Like they are trying to. There's a cocaine shipment that ended up crashing off the Irish coast. So they want to look to see if there's any extra cocaine that they can sell. And so they're on this mission to find a package of cocaine. And it's this really low budget Irish film. It's a comedy, and I've seen it already, but I think that Smudcast would probably enjoy that. That's a good Irish film made for less than $1 million.
Yeah, well, that's a high budget Irish film, man.
It's a high budget Irish film.
Well,
made
you
for
know what?
$2.
We do have voice. He's the guy I watched the Snydercast or the Snyder Cut video with. So
Oh God, the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Schmash.
So I could ask him if he knows that. We could definitely hook that up. That's no problem. I'm just assuming because of his ethnicity. So he doesn't culturally appropriate it from the YouTubes.
I'm
or
looking
from-
at the fucking poster for that, and I'm like, I fucking know these people. You know, I'm like,
Well, there's only like 14 people in Ireland anyway, so yeah, you probably do know him.
All right,
I'm like, I
gents.
swear this person lives near me.
Let's call it an evening. Thanks, Dollface. I know Agent Yokai Zero was here in spirit, as well as Master Keys. He had to go. But thank you, Glib, as always, and Hawk.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Gingaman, I know you're there, buddy. Thanks.
Yep.
All righty. So tomorrow we'll find out if we keep going with the Ellis or we go with whatever chat comes up with. So
Something else to slit our wrists to. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should be fun.
Don't forget to appropriate some culture tonight, everybody.
Oh.
Spread the patriarchy. Dick Society.
there you, Dick Society. I was waiting for people to say that because everyone was talking about we live in a society. It's like we live in a Dick Society, guys.
We live in Dick Society.
Yeah. Anyway.
Society.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Have yourself a great evening. Bye-bye now.
Bye.